Sweet.
Stream is started.
All right.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh man, I can't do it anymore. I used to do it during the show and it drive Dustin crazy.
I'd be like, what is
That's that
Okay,
spooky
man.
shit we find for the when we're editing. I'm like looking for some creepy sound. I'm like, what is that? It's like you just put that in there instead of the. Always find the sub lows.
We did a bit on that on the.
I still have it.
They're so readily available.
We did it. We were making fun of Tyler Sheridan, like how, or Taylor Sheridan. Right?
Taylor Sheridan.
How he does it in all his, every single one of his productions.
Yeah.
To commercial.
Yeah.
Or actually, it's just a scene change because you're
Right.
watching it on
It's like
streaming.
Taylor Sheridan live Yellowstone.
Yeah, but he goes. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it gets over the top. You're like, dude, why do you do that in every single one of your projects?
Relax.
Calm
It's
down
so
with
funny
that.
we're talking about this because I was literally talking about when I was doing the editing for this episode that's coming out Friday. I'm like, God damn, I use those a lot. Dude, I should just put something stupid in there when it happens. Like, wow.
Well, I went and
I
got
like your
a
idea
whole-
of recording random shit though. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
stuff that
Having
you
your
could
own
do.
Foley.
Yeah, having your own Foley art.
Yeah.
Just ready to go.
I
So
went and
that's
had to
cool.
go grab a whole pack of Bram because Bram is fun, and I was throwing that in shows and stuff. I don't think I still have it on this laptop anymore, but
We don't. Yeah, we
It's
don't really
funny.
have a structure at all. It just literally is get in a room and
on your
bullshit.
podcast.
Yeah.
all right, let's fire this thing up. Y'all ready to go? Yep. I don't see any. No, I don't have any Bram on here. Dang it. I was gonna in a world.
Michael Bayett.
I told him Michael Bay. All right, let's fire this thing up. Here we go. Everybody's ready, armed, go.
The man in black fled across the desert. The guns would fall out.
This episode of the
We should edit in
brought to you by
Guys note.
and,
Victor Wrench.
and Plastic
para-
Object.
The Jerry
Para-
Jonestown
para
Massacre contains
in
graphic material,
español.
including
Para
offensive
para
language,
theory.
partial nudity,
Español.
and completely ridiculous
español.
thoughts and opinions that shouldn't be expressed or
Natito
shared
flex.
by anyone. Listener discretion is advised.
And now coming at you from the Temple of I, it's two of the biggest cocks that I know.
It's the Jerry Jonestown Massacre!
Just like Deftones.
It is. It's
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
show number 563. It is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Happy Tuesday, Matt.
Happy Tuesday, Dustin. Show number 536?
563.
560. My dyslexia kicked in. Who's this playing?
This is Fugitive, and there's a reason why. We'll get to that later in the show.
Turn it up.
No.
Turn it up, Mino.
Can I turn it up here? Let's see here. You ready?
Yeah, where's your... Is it?
Are you looking for the Deftones break again?
No, I think that's the only time they do it, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah.
So what's the deal? Is Power Trip back together now?
We'll get
with
to
a
that later in the
singer?
show.
Like,
Stop
what's
jumping the
happening
gun.
here?
Stop jumping
what's going
the gun.
on with Fugitive?
Stop being excited
what do we got going
about
on
this.
here?
We have news that actually came straight from the source, and then it popped online.
Okay.
But we'll get to that a little later. Because first, we need to introduce our guests. Joining us tonight.
Fuck that. What were you gonna say? What's going on?
Yeah, what's the big news?
Yeah, what's the news?
News.
Jesus.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Do you want to know now?
Might as well.
Is it music related? Because we don't really have a music segment in our show. So, well, we do have one that I want you to listen to.
All right, so we'll bring it back up then. Announced today, this little
Is this the
weird
tour?
little no, hold on, relax.
Is this the sex show?
This is the sex show that I found out about. So there's this festival that's been organized out in California called No Values Festival, and they released their big flyer of who's all going to be there. And some interesting names popped up. One that caught my eye right off the bat,
It does do it again.
yeah, was the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
And the reason it popped up, I was like, well, what the fuck is this? We just paid money to go up to New York to see them for these reunion shows. What is this?
Now they're gonna
Well, Ben posted and said, this is going to be their warm-up show
before
because they
go.
felt bad not for fans on the West Coast that couldn't get tickets for the New York show. They're doing this first, so this will be their warm-up show before they do all the New York reunion shows.
Nice.
And that's it. He
What's
said,
the?
I swear that's
wh-
it.
Is it gonna be when we're in town?
What?
Like we're not gonna be in New York then, are we?
When we got tickets for the New York show.
I know.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be able to catch it both, here and there?
No.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Well, California in
It's
there.
the bass drop that happens.
Do what?
This festival's in California.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about something local.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the next name
Mom?
sitting right beside them was Power Trip.
Wow.
And I'm like there's a whole row here of people that aren't touring, aren't bands anymore, supposedly, or broken up or whatever. And Power Trip's sitting there. I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I sent this flyer to you guys, you and Jeremy, and then I also sent it over to Tim and Lance. And Tim's like, hold on a minute. Let me get to the bottom of this. And I guess right across the office, he's working with one of these guys.
Jesus.
And it's like, here's the deal. Yeah, let me hit that. Let me hit this up again. Power Trip is back. They are taking, as you know, The Fugitive has been around, released a little EP,
Yep.
and been playing around, running around, having fun. And they will be reforming Power Trip with Seth Gilmore, who's been fronting Fugitive. They did a show in Austin at Mohawk. Power Trip did, and at the end of the show, they came back out and played 4 or 5 Power Trip songs, and the crowd went nuts, and it was crazy.
Shit.
It's all on YouTube and everything.
Wow.
Well, Power Trip's coming back with Seth singing with the original band. And they're playing this festival out there, and they're going to be playing a few shows. So be on the lookout for a couple of secret local shows,
The
warm-up shows. and
Zone
stuff.
overview.
That video
Yep.
was really good
The
that you sent over when you went and caught him. Weren't you at that show when the Power Trip guys got up and
Yeah.
played a few songs?
that was their
on the
secret
Fut-
show
on the Fugitive.
at Tulips.
Right.
They were supposed to play the Metallica show, but
Right. And
the weather
something happened. Yeah.
screwed all that up. So they were going to play the outside stage at AT&T Stadium as people were coming in.
And they played over in Dallas.
But the weather screwed all that up, so they played a show at Tulips, and then the next night at in Dallas.
I love it. I love anytime there's a thrash band, speed metal band, anything. I'm all about it, man. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I was looking about flying out there because it's June 8th, and then our show is June 29th.
Did you say
in
it's
New
Southern
York.
California?
It's Sonoma, outside of LA, just east of LA. So there you go. We just blew all our wad at the top of the show. Nothing else to talk about. All right.
Yeah. We'll
So
see y'all later, man.
We'll see you later. Good
Let's
night.
talk
My
about-
name's Dale, and this is Harvey. See you later.
All right, so let's introduce our guest before we get any deeper into this. Starting from radio left to right, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Justin Ross.
Craig Youngblood.
And y'all are
Paratheory.
Paratheory.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first time we've ever had any paranormal investigators into the temple.
That's cool.
And in 11 years, it's kind of nifty.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about this.
Right on.
Kind of excited about this. How'd y'all start all this up?
That's a good one.
What made you want to do this?
Man, I've been a fan of it for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. You know, lots of experiences when I was a kiddo, that kind of thing. And I think it was like early 90s when I first heard about people doing that. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Jeez.
Wow, that's weird.
I was trying to figure out how to
Here
get in
we
the
are.
chat room, but no one's in there anyway, so fuck it.
Here they
Um,
are. Are you not seeing it? There's people in there. They're not on that.
Anyway, I accidentally unmuted it, so sorry about that.
No, you're good.
As we're talking about
Continue,
paranormal
continue.
stuff, you start doing ghostly
That was-
shit over there.
That wasn't paranormal.
Look
That
what
was
you
just parafart
Parafart. Yeah, that's our other show.
Fart
actually.
and fall down.
Yeah,
Parafart.
no joke. Yeah, that'll be a. We'll come back around to that. That's our big news. Yeah.
So, what kind of experiences did you have?
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
man, we lived in this house in Hearst, and
Ooh, we're at her.
literally like right on the cut of like Hearst, Colleyville, Bedford, just right there, Cheeksbarger and 26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Not my stomping ground.
and it was a home that had been like rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt. It was in the same family, the Farr family, forever. And then we were the first family to live in it that wasn't part of the Farrs, and they had so it started out as like a really tiny, 2-bedroom living room kitchen, and then it grew another room and another room and another room, and then it became a 2-story, and then it was fucking huge. And so when I was a kid, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and we had some just crazy things happening, and my mom and dad didn't want to believe it. And I kept telling them, like, Dad, look, this is happening. He's like, nah, bullshit, just go to bed. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And
As I would have too if I was
Sure.
a kid that was
yeah,
saying that.
I'm
Right.
trying to get laid. Go to bed.
I'm trying to
yeah.
fuck your
leave me,
mom.
leave me alone, goddammit.
We'll just want to drink my beer, smoke a Marlboro,
Right.
bang
Yeah.
the wife.
He found out about it later on, and I guess the big turn was it happened 2 nights back to back. I got in some severe trouble. I was like 9 years old. Got in some trouble. Me and a friend of mine, Bobby Edwards, decided we were going to get up on the barn in the backyard with a pellet gun and shoot out the windows of a junkyard that was behind the house. We're shooting them out of the cars that were junked out. And we were just like, oh, they're all junk cars. Nobody cares. But,
That's what I used to do on top of my roof, but I would shoot moving cars on pipeline.
yeah. Well, yeah. There was 26 was right there. One miss,
Yeah.
And so he, I had all these chores to do. Got my ass whipped. And then it was, you're mowing the lawn, you're doing this, blah, blah. And he drag raced. So he had all these unmarked VHS tapes where Mom was out there with the big, gigantic,
Easy.
the
You
huge,
gotta be careful with those.
VHS roulette.
Yeah,
the
you
big
gotta-
ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
I
he's
got a box of VHS tapes at my house that I'm worried about because my uncle wants me to go through them. They're my grandparents, and
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
I already know where this is going, and it did happen. I'll just say it.
Oh,
yes.
that's exactly what I was
100%,
saying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I was freaking out.
Yeah, it was like some 70s bush porn.
Yeah.
Did you know them?
No, I didn't. That
So it
would've
wasn't
been
your
weird.
parents?
No, it wasn't. Thank God. So he wanted me to label these things and put them in alphabetical order, and because on the film it would say down the bottom corner like the date and time, and so he wanted me to put the dates and where it was at, the racetrack, blah blah blah. So big huge bookshelf, and I'm putting all this together, and I've spent I don't know how long doing this, putting the tape in, having to go through it because it's like several races on one tape, kind of deal. It took me all day into the night, kind of deal. I put them all together. I finally go in the kitchen. It was like an L curved home, and so you come out of the front living room, and then it's like my room, a guest room, the living room, and then a kitchen, and then you go through that into what is a game room, and then upstairs is the master. And he's over in this game room, and I said, "Hey, Dad, I finished putting together the tapes. If you want to come take a look at it." And as I'm standing there with him, you hear this just, and the bookcase that is drilled into the wall, kind of deal, has not leaned or anything. Just there's not a single tape left on it, and they all flew out of it into the floor, and they're a mess. They're all over. And he heard it, and he's like, "What the hell was that? Boy, you ain't done shit." He just skipped it, and I'm sitting there going, "That's impossible. How the hell did that just happen? I didn't stack them. They were all perfectly, nothing broke." Did the same thing. I had to put them all back together. Well, the next night, middle of the night, it's like 2:30, something like that in the morning. It's a school night. It's like a Monday night. He's like, I hear the back door open. And I hear him I heard him come down the stairs, and everything was on pier and beam in this house, so it's like as you're walking through there. And he was a huge dude, so he's coming down the stairs, and I'm like, "What's Dad doing?" And then I hear the back door open. And then I hear it close, and then I hear him telling Molly, he's like, "Molly, call 911. Tell Justin to stay in his fucking room." And I'm like, "What's going on, guys?" You know, and he's like, "Get back in your fucking room." And I'm watching out the window, and he's out there with a gun going into the shop we got out back, and the lights are on, and the lights are like going on and off. And the door's open. And as the lights are flashing, there is a dude standing in the door. And I'm like, "Oh my God, somebody broke in." Because he had a lawn mowing company and he drag raced. So he's using the shop, it's a 2-car garage. Car on one side, lawn mowing on the other, right? I was like, "Oh my God, somebody broke into the shop. Dad's gonna fucking kill him," you know? And he goes, he's screaming. He's got this big ass, dirty, hairy Magnum going out there. And the door slams and the lights turn off and stop flashing. And he can't get the door open. And so he's like, and I can hear him yelling, you got nowhere to go. There's one way in, one way out. And all the windows have bars on them, so he has to come out that door. He's like, "I'll just wait. Police are on their way," you know. Cops show up. Dad hasn't moved. Cops come in the backyard. They go back there. And he puts the gun down and, you know, gets back. There's like 6 or 7 cops, and they had to kick the door open. And they go in there, and there's not a soul in there. But on our CCTV cams that we had in the backyard, like our big, gigantic ass, you know, talking about the old square ones that were real long. We had one, and it was right at the shop. And on that VHS tape, you see a dude come almost in between the trailer and truck, and comes out and goes into the shop, and the lights and everything just start going nuts for whatever reason, and he's in there, but you can't make out who he is or what he is. You know it's a guy or a person, but you can't see skin tone or nothing, and it's real shitty quality, and, you know, he goes in. Anyway, don't have that footage, wish I did.
Yeah.
I've searched for that tape 100 days over, still nothing. Cops come in, they search the whole place. It's not that big,
Yeah.
you know, and there's nowhere to hide. It's all open. So it's like, you didn't get in the car, and he's not hiding on a tractor. You know, it's like, where is he? And so they didn't find anything, and that was the day that I was like, because I heard my mom and dad talking about it. You know, they were trying to they didn't want to tell me what was going on.
What was their theory?
Dad said, he was like telling Mom, he's like, "Molly, listen, I know there was somebody in the doorway." And she's like, "You sure you just weren't hearing things, you know?" He's like, "I'm telling you, I saw somebody standing in the doorway," and then that's when I came out. I said, "Mom, I saw it too. I was looking out the window, and it was a man standing in the doorway." And then from that day on, things just started escalating in that home. And then he ended up dying in that home. I was 16 when he passed. And that's a whole nother story. But it was just unfortunate that it happened in the home. And then we moved probably like 2 months after that. Well, 3 months after that. And we moved to the Grapevine. And got into a rental. And the things that we had happen in that house beyond that were just, you know, it got to the point where I was numb to it. Like, I was just like, whatever.
How old
You know,
were you?
I was 9 when all that went down with the shop, and then from 9 to 16, and then at 16 we moved to Grapevine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Did y'all ever talk, the three of y'all, about it?
My dad and I?
Right,
No.
and your mother? Or
No,
was it
Dad
your
wouldn't
sister?
talk about it. Mom would, but she didn't, you know, they just didn't want to talk about stuff like that.
Did y'all sit down and watch the CCTV footage? Or
Yeah, Dad was like, look.
There it
He
is.
was trying,
Yeah.
Mom was like, no way, you know, which was crazy because Mom was like, and that's a whole nother thing. Like, Mom was like a psychic, right? I don't tell a lot of people that, but she didn't do it for money or anything like that. She never pressed it on people. So it's just her intuition was just stupid, dead on, you know, with people. And it was that way up until just about 15 years ago. And then she's got like early Alzheimer's dementia, and she's in a home. So she never told anybody that, and except, you know, God, that's hard to talk about because people have such a, I don't know what's their theory on
Yeah,
their skepticisms on that, and so that's why I don't ever bring it up.
like that's what we were talking about before the show. I'm skeptic about all this,
Sure.
but I watch all the TV shows.
I'll tell you right now, the TV shows are bullshit.
I don't watch any of them.
I watch your show.
That's not TV. That's Paraflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that's on Discovery Channel
Bullshit.
or TLC or whatever the hell it is.
Bullshit.
But like I started watching,
Just a real-
rewatching the Jack Osborne stuff just because of who he was with.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of Jason Mewes. You know, the whole Kevin Smith View Askew-verse. I'm a fan. I wanted to watch that, and then Jenny McCarthy and all that. And
That's
I'm
what I thought you were going to say first.
I'm
Mhm.
kind of like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, all this is weird.
Yeah, it's very produced in that world.
Yeah.
And on for the people's eye. The church controls a lot, and I don't want to get into that, but the church controls
Well-
a ton of our TV.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Okay,
Yeah. So like, when it
I was like,
comes-
we're going down a conspiracy rabbit hole now.
right. I don't want to get into that, but it's like when it comes to think about it like this: if tomorrow they were to come out on national television and go, everything you thought was bullshit is real. The boogeyman's real. The
Lost City of
yeah,
Atlantis.
it's all there, and we have proof.
Bigfoot.
And here is the proof, and that there is another side that is intelligent enough to make communications with you. People would lose their fucking mind.
Well, that's a lot of the things.
Mass hysteria.
The UFO issues. Like
Mhm.
if it came out that UFOs, which all of us I think now are kind of like, there's something else out there going
Right.
on. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Now, what it is, we don't know 100%, but there is stuff happening, and there are such thing of UFOs. Like when the government did that big expose a few months ago, it was just kind of like everybody I know was like, yeah, we know, they're there. We're not. It's not shocking, but my theory is like if you come out and say there are extraterrestrials in this world
Sure.
that are from different planets and stuff, the churches are gone.
Well,
It doesn't
It
have
destroys
to.
religion.
The thing is, though, if you think, well, see, if you look at it from a philosophical standpoint, that doesn't have to be true, because if you think about what most mainstream religions, and I'm speaking of Judeo-Christian
Mhm.
and Catholics, Muslims, Buddhist,
Right.
like your major ones, right?
Right.
There's an elevation of God above man, right?
Right.
So, if you think about it, and you say, well, this would if aliens started landing everywhere, or we started seeing paranormal activity everywhere, then it would just completely crumble the church. It would hurt the church, but if you think about it philosophically, every religion says God is here, man is here, right?
well, all of them have basically the same
So-
origin story.
Right, exactly. So just because we didn't know about it, that doesn't mean that God doesn't have something else going on in different places, different universes, different realities, and things like that. No religion says that our human brain is capable of knowing everything like
no,
God, right?
almost every religion says we can't handle
The truth.
everything. We
Right.
can't.
Right. So that's my point. That's
You
we
can't
handle the truth. But that's my point. And philosophically, it is. If you think about religion and you think about aliens, it could fit, because just because the fact that God has another side project somewhere else and we don't know about, that doesn't mean that it's not. That
We're not the main band.
we're not the main band. We're not the main character.
Or the
dang it.
opener.
That's
We're
the
the
thing.
opener.
But your power, though, the thing is, everybody's skeptical because religious has been used to govern people. It's been used by governments to to control people, and so that's why there's always the skepticism. Like, well, if aliens are real, then religion's not.
Right.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not. It's not this.
No.
That's not apples to apples. It's not oranges to oranges. It's two different discussions. So I think your dumbasses out there, if you will,
Sure.
they would have a problem and say, no, well, religion's done. I can't believe in God anymore.
Right.
But then if you have open-minded thinkers that think about it,
Sure.
they're not gonna think that way. I don't
Right.
think.
Right.
So I guess I'm the dumbass out
It's
there.
it's a dividing
no,
line. It's just a dividing line. Is all it is. I mean, it comes down to it, and that's why, like, going through all the shit, later on, it was just like I've always wanted to do one of these shows, but I didn't ever really want it to be a show. I just wanted to do it. I just for my own,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a skeptic too. In your realm, I believe in aliens.
Right.
Afterlife, I've had 2 things that have happened that have been kind of weird, strange, but like I tell my girls, I'm almost 50 years old. I've never seen a ghost, never seen a demon, for sure. Never seen any kind of
I see a demon every Tuesday.
Never seen a skinwalker or anything like that.
Right.
So to me, it's hocus pocus, but I'm open to it. Now, the 2 things that have happened to me were pretty freaky,
Sure.
but
It's
we
the
might
theory
get
of
into
this.
that later.
You drive the same car for 20 years,
Mhm.
and then you buy a green, fucking I don't know what kind of car do you have right now?
Right now, and then I have an Impala and a Coke. Is that a Malibu out there? Yeah,
Okay,
Malibu.
tomorrow
Or a Jeep,
you go
Malibu,
by,
whatever.
you get this smoking deal on a fucking neon green Chevrolet truck.
Right?
This week you'll see 50 neon green
Green
Chevrolet trucks.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
That's where it falls into. And
Yeah.
so it's like paranormal in my eyes is not about ghosts and spirits, blah blah blah. Paranormal is just the meaning to it to me is just something that we don't understand. That we are trying to make communication
Yeah.
with. That's why like when we do paratheory, I'm not going in there with these fucking bullshit apps like Spirit Talker and fucking
There's
Necrophonic.
apps?
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
so
Like
stupid.
ghost
There are
seeking
literally
apps?
YouTubers that make their entire living off of a fucking app. They'll tear in a mountain to a molehill, or a molehill into a mountain, or however the hell you're saying that. They will do that literally every day, and I don't have respect for that.
Do you pay for these apps?
Well,
Or are they
that's-
free.
Some of them you can.
Yeah,
No, that's like
bullshit.
like one of the questions I had for you guys was about the gear, and when
Yeah.
I was researching some of the gear, because I noticed some of the stuff you guys were using, some of the stuff Jack Osborne was
Mhm.
using, and he says, I got this device that plays FM signals in forward and reverse.
Yes,
and
Spirit
it
box.
allows
Spirit box.
a spirit box, and then I see some guy on there. It's like, well, it's got a Bluetooth capability and it's got reverb built in it, so you can make it sound spookier and all this stuff. And I'm like, the guy that supposedly
It's
makes
not-
them or whatever, and I'm like,
You can't water it down like that.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
no.
you can't water it down and be
It's-
all weird like
trick
that.
it
Just
up.
be-
It's literally a AM/FM radio. So you got to imagine it like the old
Is
school
this?
radio.
Are we
that's-
talking about
that's-
what was on your episode that we watched?
Yeah.
Okay. The pyramid with the.
That's the
Red
yes no
green light.
prism.
the,
No.
oh,
Oh,
the
the
yes
no
no
prism.
prism.
and I want to
Yeah.
get to that in a minute too.
Yeah,
that's-
motion sensor. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Everything we're trying to use is as analog as we can possibly get. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
keep trying to make that a thing, something that like the EMF detector, right? EMF detectors are used in like
Every time I hear EMF detector, that's what
That's
goes
what we're
in my
getting.
head. Okay.
I don't personally like them, to be totally honest, because they're literally made for like
The EMF meter.
yeah, it's like exposed wiring. It doesn't have to be exposed wiring. It could be your lights.
Well, see-
it can be your power. Anything can make that thing go off.
This is where I'm skeptical, and I agree with you 100% because of my field of work.
Right.
Everything you're surrounded by EMF,
100%.
electromagnetic frequency
Right.
is everywhere. Your Wi-Fi, your cell phone. If
Absolutely.
you're out running around doing some investigation, you have your cell phone in your pocket. That
Right.
could be setting it off depending on
Totally.
how strong the cellular signal
Yes.
is, what type of cellular signal it is,
Right.
because your phone's getting hit by 6 or 7 different
Correct.
wavelengths
Right.
at once. So it could be setting anything off. Radio, TV,
Right.
Yeah.
your distance from a radio and TV tower, and like you said, exposed wiring, different types of lighting
Totally.
can set it all off.
So this is why I like using the RIM pod. All right, and the RIM pod is an EMF detector, but it's not sending out much of a signal to search for.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take like this Red Bull can for example. It's going out about
God, that's
maybe 12
You
inches.
drink that in
round.
one sitting?
He
That's
just
the
drank two of
second
them.
one.
This is my
Oh
second
gosh,
one.
man, you got to be on blood pressure medicine, right?
Dude, I probably should. I'm just really
You need to
tired.
go
We've
get
been up since early this morning cleaning my garage out, and that was a horrible day.
That's the second one. you
Yeah,
said?
I'm tired.
Good God.
You're not going to bed tonight.
Yeah, I got editing to do, so I'll be up doing that.
So okay, it's
So
a
okay,
small,
so it's a small deal. It has an antenna that comes up, and then it's got 4 lights on it, and it'll tell you like, so if you come in this way, like you bring your hand, if you're out here, it's not gonna pick you up. You got to get like in that bubble, right?
Okay.
And then it'll tell you like, so if I'm over here, the light will shine over here. If I'm over here, or if I'm on both sides, big enough, both these lights will go off, right? And so, in order for that thing to go off, yes, currents can set it off. You totally can. Cell phones will definitely do it. RF will not do it.
Okay.
But cell phone, absolutely. That's why like I always try and keep my cell phone like on airplane mode, throw it in the truck, try not to have it with me. We had it on the Milling Sanitarium one because I was playing music off of it, but I was like, okay, airplane mode, turn my Bluetooth off, turn everything off completely, that kind of deal. And it wasn't jacking with it, so that was great. That was cool. And we test that. You know, we want to know if it's going to go off because that's what we're trying to use it for, capturing something, right? So you get a 0 base. Basically, you're testing the room at 0.
Okay.
So if you walk around the room with a K2 meter in your hand, right, and you test the room and you get a base 1, all around within your base is 1, all right? And then if it sits at 1 for 2 hours and it's doing nothing, and then all of a sudden you're asking questions, and you say, can you get it to light up to yellow? And this thing's reaching in for it, right? And it moves up to yellow and holds. It's not a pulse. It's not going to be like an electric current come through where it's
Yeah. No, I
it
get that.
gradually goes up and stays there, and then it's intelligent enough to say, okay, let go of it. Now go up there, make it go orange. And it goes up. Then you're looking at something that's more plausible.
Yeah, my complaint was more about the stupid, shitty shows that we were talking about. Like
It'll bleep, and they'll be like, oh, did you see that
they'll-
shit?
Yeah.
Or they'll be walking through, we're walking through the baker today, and all of a sudden, oh shit, we've got something. It's like,
Yeah, that
that place is exposed full of, well, there's rebarb in the walls. There's all
Right.
sorts of shit that'll
Right.
set it off. I know that, so
Yeah.
I can't believe.
Maybe put a copper sleeve around it, the detector or something. But then it wouldn't work, would it?
Well,
No,
you want it to
you
go
don't
out.
want a
Because that's
Faraday
the same.
cage.
Yeah.
That's the same. Like there's so much. That's what I was kind of gonna bring up the same thing as what he's saying. There's so much stuff in the air right now with 5G and all
Jeez,
these
yes.
crazy things floating in the air and
Yeah.
giving us cancer and stuff. Like the your copper sleeves, those are made because of electromagnetic pulses that will
Yeah.
inflame your joints, right? That's how
That's
Yeah.
kind of to shield it from it,
right.
so it can heal the.
So that's the thing
better.
is, I think with like the electric magnetic pulse technology and what have you, it can be,
Where were you on that one, asshole?
I need to be.
Jeez.
or EMF. There you go. It just seems like it could be compromised really easily this day and
Totally.
age.
Yeah, I think that's why
So-
like we try and stay away from a K2 meter.
What's your most valuable, as far as the research and the stuff that you're doing, tool that you're using?
Right now,
The music box.
The music box.
It's a motion sensor, and that's what we're leaning more towards.
Now,
like
is
a
that
theorem?
is that the thing I was talking about?
Theorem?
The thing that scans AM, FM?
that's
No,
a spirit
Or-
box.
This is
That's a
literally
spirit
just
box. What's
a
a music
little
There's a band
music
called Spirit
box. It has a
too, I
winder
think.
on the
Yeah.
side of it,
Yeah.
and it's got a 9-volt in it, and it's got a motion sensor on the front, and it only goes about 2 feet out in front of you, and you set it, and it'll calculate that there's nothing blocking it like this light, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So if it's back here, it's not going to go off. But here, it's going to go off because this thing is obstructing it.
I'm sorry if I hear a fucking music box going off.
Did y'all
Oh,
see
it's
the,
eerie.
did y'all see
Pitch
the
black
preview on Facebook that we
Yeah,
released?
I saw that.
It's eerie.
That
It's
creeps
eerie.
me. That would creep me the fuck out.
We were in
That'd be bad.
the Ritz Theater in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and we had it sitting up in the front room. This lady supposedly passed out. And this part of the building we're in is what used to be the what was it, the upstairs of the theater. It was
It was a brothel.
brothel. Yeah. Anyway, it sat up in this room doing nothing for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It did nothing. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there talking. You just hear this thing, ding, 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 ding. And it starts going off like something's walking back and forth in front of it. And we get up, and the closer we got down there, the closer, and it's in another room. It can't see us, and it's going off, and it keeps going off. And then we turn the corner, and it stops. And I'm like, what the fuck's making that? So we're trying to disprove it. We're like, okay, well, maybe it sat here too long.
Or a mouse or
A
something.
mouse.
That's the thing that gets me with some of these shows is you're at night,
Critters.
you're walking around a place that's been deserted, and you're hearing shit bang around, and rats aren't stealthy.
Yeah.
They'll bang into any fucking
No,
thing.
when we
and
were
so
in
were
Milling-
squirrels. They'll bang into all sorts of shit.
I got stupid excited when we were in Milling because we bought these little, like for your stairs in your house, little motion sensor lights.
Yeah.
And we put them staggered down the hallway because they said that one of their claims is they see the shadow going up and down the hallway constantly. I was like, all right, well, we'll just
Mm-hmm.
put them about every 3 feet and stagger them down the room, you know? And so when we got done shooting that deal and I got back home the first time, I went back through the footage and of course I wanted to go straight for that. Like I was so excited. And I'm kind of fast forwarding through the footage and I'm watching those lights and by the time I see them like, I'm like, oh shit, we got one. I was like, what the fuck? And no, they were rats. They're just going across the floor like a highway.
See,
They're
and
going
that's what I
everywhere.
think about some of these people that are out. Once again, the Baker or the Jack Osborne thing is they hear this banging around in a far side of the building. I'm like, it's just a fucking rat
Yeah.
running into something. That's nothing.
Here's the thing about banging. If you're asking questions, right, and you're wanting a significant answer,
Mhm.
hearing something like is one thing, but when you're doing something like, you know, give me one for yes, two for no, and it's definitive, like that's different.
Yeah.
Have you experienced something like that?
Yeah.
We all did that on the. Now, to be perfectly honest, I only got to see the first one because it's the only one that's outside the paywall.
Yeah.
Oh, on the YouTube deal?
No, on the.
Oh, on
On Paraflix.
Just use Prayer Theory 25, man.
Do what?
Use our promo code Prayer Theory 25.
Does it get you in for free?
It's like $1 a month.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll do that. Throw that out there. Throw that out
And
to
then
everybody.
they go to, it's on Paraflix.com or you can do it at the App Store, Google, Roku, whatever you got.
Uh-huh.
And it's like Netflix for paranormal. But they also support like bands on there. Bands can submit their music videos, all sorts of stuff. I think it's like I think bands get like for every 1,000 views, you get $20. I mean, it beats
Cool.
YouTube. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Beat YouTube,
hello?
beat Spotify.
I ain't get
Yeah.
$1 million. That's 20 grand.
But that's so. That first episode, you're in the milling
Mhm.
out in
Mineral Wells.
Mineral Wells, which Mineral Wells has so many creepy fucking buildings. in
Yeah, it really
period.
does.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's so much fun to
There's
explore.
a
Yeah.
lot of creepy stuff
Is-
west of here, southwest. And
Is Crazy
west.
Eights on YouTube?
Crazy 8 is on YouTube.
We
You
did
guys
Crazy
can check
Eight
that one
Sports
out.
Bar in Mineral Wells also.
So on our YouTube channel, you can check that out.
So watch that first episode. You had two devices. You had one on the table in front of you
Uh-huh.
that you kept playing Patsy Cline, and she kept responding to it.
Right.
The female ghost that was there.
That was the REM pod.
That was the REM pod. And then
Yeah.
you had another one up, elevated, like
The yes no
in
prism.
an area. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that have an antenna on it? How
No.
does that work?
It's motion sensor. So
It
on
is.
this, so it's like a little prism, has a red light and a green light, and on one side it turns red, and green on the other. On the sides of that prism, it's these little motion sensors.
Okay.
And so as your hand's out here, and here's the prism. As you come in, it'll turn it green or red, whatever, and then you'll hear the sound. So it's like, and it gets, really the closer you get, louder it gets. So in theory, what you're doing is you're getting this thing to move on either side of it for a yes or no kind of situation, and it's worked.
Have you ever busted
On
a
cue.
Ouija board out?
No, man.
No.
Let's see. There's
Yeah.
stories about Ouija boards.
Yeah, my
in
mom used to
family.
Again,
Nice, man.
it goes to the analog side of things. Like that is pretty analog, sure, but it's the biggest question in the world, and
Yeah.
there's no way to prove that. There's no way.
Right.
It's been around 1,000 years, and there's no way to prove that. So you either take it for what it's worth or don't. I just sit there and go, look, I've heard millions of great things and millions of absolutely horrible things, and is it worth in our field of bringing that into something? No, it's not. Not for us.
So this is kind of a goofy question for you guys. And I thought of it on the way over here. I watched the free episode too.
Sure.
Have you ever gone in like to antagonize? Like, what do they do when you remind them that they're dead?
Yeah,
Do they get
Justin,
offended with
what
it?
do they do?
I mean, they get
Oh,
kind of
Do you bring it up?
pissy.
Do you bring it up even, or is that
Absolutely.
something that you don't like to talk
Some
about?
places, no, I'll talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. And like you're enticing them. You're trying to get them to
To
react.
show, so you're
Yeah,
trying to get
because
a
sometimes we'll
reaction.
go into places.
Justin does.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you go into places and nothing is happening, and that's more off. That's 90% of the time. We'll never get those hours back. We're just sitting in the dark, two grown ass men asking questions and farting. All right,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Well, see,
Yeah.
Dustin and I could never do it because we'd end up eating some mushrooms because we're bored.
And
And
then
then
it starts
next thing you
fucking with your
know,
mind.
then all hell would
Yeah.
break
And we'd
loose.
think we're in
we
a
would think we were,
ballroom of ghosts. We're in
Right.
the haunted mansion.
but then we'd walk away with nothing because we'd be like, "Oh, we were just tripping."
That would just be an episode in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like,
The Mushroom Town
The
Massacre.
mushroom
has
Town
anybody...
Massacre in Weatherford, Texas,
That's our new name.
or Mineral Wells. I'm sorry.
Have you had any retaliation? Because, like, one of the things on the...
Yeah.
A lot of these shows, and I keep going back to these crazy-ass shows that are on TV, is they always warn that you can get an attachment and take it home with you or whatever. I don't really believe
Here's
in
the
that,
thing,
but
please, come on, attach. Fuck yeah, I don't have to go anywhere.
Well, you
I can
made
just
it.
do
You
it
could
from
just do
home.
it from your house.
Right,
You
please.
made a comment in that episode too that I watched about something that had been following you your whole life, and you asked,
Well,
"Is it here?"
Yeah, I'm asking like.
Do you have
is
a
it-
name for that?
No, I don't. Because
Just
I don't know
your
what the
little
fuck it
buddy?
is. Because I thought forever that it was just following me around because like every house we lived in, everything we've done, even after when we lived down there at Acuff, it was just every time I went somewhere,
What if it's the guy in the garage?
it could be.
just hanging
I
out.
don't fucking know. I don't know what it is. Has it ever hurt me? No. Was it going to?
Do you feel
Probably not.
protected by it?
Not at all.
Do you feel threatened by it?
Not at all. I don't know what the fuck it is, so I don't have a feeling towards it.
That's
It's a
that's a
chimera.
good question. Do you ever feel threatened when you go out and do these?
I did on this last one.
So
Yeah,
what
100%.
happened on the last
It comes out this Friday.
Ha!
Number
Packaging.
one.
Yes, promo.
We got called in by a family here in Fort Worth that will remain nameless. And this dude's a grown-ass man and 100% skeptic, does not believe in this whatsoever. But he had nowhere to go. He even, talked to his, I guess it'd be his pastor at the church. That's who we talked to. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. Well, what are you going to do?
The preacher said, "I don't know,
Yeah, I
man.
don't know what to do.
Fucking figure it out."
Yeah.
Man.
He said he came home.
Yeah.
He works like
Thoughts
2
and
weeks, 3
prayers.
weeks on.
Mhm.
He gets home, picks up his little daughter from his ex, gets back to the house. She goes over to a friend's house. He's watching the game. It's on a Sunday. And he hears in the kitchen, he hears what sounds like one of the chairs moving by the table. He thought that maybe like a dog got in or raccoon or squirrel or something messing around under the table. He goes in there, it stops. This happens a couple more times, and then he saw the chair moving. And then he goes to see what's under the table, and he said it was like somebody took 2 pans and slapped him in his face. And he said he felt the wind off of it, and it made his ears ring.
Like a concussion.
And
kinda?
he literally
Yeah.
got his daughter from her friend's house, and they went and got a hotel.
When was this? Was a few weeks ago, or
This has been a little over a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all went in there.
So we went in, and he comes to one of the gigs and talks to me about it and says, look,
Which we'll talk about that. We talk about a gig. You're
Yeah.
a musician. We'll
Right.
talk about that in a little bit.
so he comes to one of the shows and he says, I need to talk to you. I don't know how to even know how to talk about this. Like, what do I say here? And so he tells me what's going on. I said, okay. I said,
do you
well,
get that a lot? Where people
No.
are like, "I don't even know how to explain this."
No, because no, I don't.
So
a lot
this
of
was
people.
This
Maybe
was a first.
this. I mean, everything we're doing right now is a first. First podcast we've ever done is Spirit Theory.
Oh, okay.
We don't.
We're busting your.
Yep.
as
Yeah.
Dustin likes to say.
As
Podcaster.
Matt likes to say,
I'm trying to clean it up.
Matt likes virgins. He's big on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we all do.
Yes.
So,
I'm thinking about becoming a Muslim, so I can have 72 of them. I kid. I kid, Muslims. Don't. No emails, please.
Oh,
We've had a weird week.
Yes.
We've had a weird week of stalkers and crazies after us.
So what did?
One of your ghosts might be after me.
So what? Y'all went over there, and hung out.
so
And-
he tells me what's going on, and I said, well, what do you
The guy,
want us to do? He's
not
like,
the
I just want to
entity.
know that I'm not crazy.
Okay.
You know,
That's
that's
what I would
basically what it comes down to. He's like, I want to know if I'm, did I imagine this? Am I drinking too much?
Well, is
Like,
the first thing you asked about sobriety? You're like,
I
well, how
totally
sober
did because I know the guy, and I was like, well,
What'd you do?
hey, bro, have you been
Yeah.
hitting the bottle pretty hard lately? He's like, no, I literally just got home. I went and picked my daughter up. We got to the house. I took a shower. She went to her friend's house. I was watching the game. I hadn't even drank that day. I'm like, okay, I'll grab Craig and we'll go. When are you going out of town? He goes, go there anytime you want. Here's a garage code. I was like,
Oh,
all
he
right.
wasn't going back. Huh?
He wasn't going
He was
back.
like, fuck
Yeah,
that, man.
no. Yeah.
So he's been living in a hotel for this long.
No, he
Oh, okay.
works a ton.
Okay.
So
He's been
as
on
I was
travel.
understood, they did go back over there. He got some stuff. They stayed at a friend's house for a little bit. He went back to work. Has been at work ever since. He hasn't. And he came back one time during the day and grabbed some stuff and split. And, like he's been on a job out in West Texas. So, and that all plays a part into what is going on, into what we found out about this place, where this house is sitting, where the whole neighborhood is sitting on. It's something straight out of a Poltergeist movie. Like I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Well, I don't want you to blow your load because you're going to release the episode
Right.
so on here, but
It's on the teaser.
Yeah, it's on the teaser.
That part. What
Yeah.
he's talking about.
So we're in the house and we're setting up. We're gonna we run all like static cameras and we're putting them in all the hotspot rooms where he says he's had stuff going on, blah blah. And I'm standing in the doorway of a bathroom that's in this like foyer of a hallway, and I'm setting up that music box. And we got these little cat balls.
I've seen you
Yeah,
showed the cat balls.
You have to like touch them in order
Yeah.
to get them to light up, right?
Yeah.
And so, we had set one down on the floor in this foyer, and then we had the music box sitting up on a table, little bench, aiming down the hallway. And his daughter had told him that he's had the house for 2 years. She's been up there like a dozen times to her room by herself. She won't go up there without him. And she won't sleep up there. She sleeps on the couch downstairs.
Did she see something too?
That's
Like,
what she said, but we don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know, like what it is. So we're up there. It's early. It just gotten dark. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably like 6:30, something like that. And we're setting up the, and the music box like sets itself, and then it starts going off. And at the same time, the cat ball goes off. And he's like, "Why is the cat ball going off?" And I'm like, "I don't think this music box." Like I'm thinking in my head, like this thing should have set itself. Why is it going off immediately? And then I do it again, and it sets itself, and it pauses, and then it started going off again. I'm like, what the fuck? There's nothing in front of it. I'm like, this thing, whatever it is standing right here in the hall. And about that time, dude, it was like somebody goosed me with their knuckle and got me right in the side, and I fucking jumped like 3 feet. Like it hurt like a son of a bitch.
Wait, were you there?
Yeah.
Did you see this too?
Yeah, I was
He
standing right
just
next to him.
He started freaking out. You're
Yeah,
like,
but he
what the-
always runs.
Did you feel anything?
I would
Did you get
probably run,
anything?
too.
They never mess with me. They always get him. I just film
fucking
it.
twice. One at Cranfield and this. And it's like, oh, they always get him.
Wait,
They pushed your fucking camera over.
What is the?
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. Where'd you go in Cranfield?
That's just the name of the house.
That's
It's
the name
out
of
in
the house.
Peaster.
It's in Peaster.
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually-
You weren't
that's-
down in Cranfield's Gap.
No,
At
but
the
it's
church
that was their
or
last
the-
name.
Okay.
It was the Cranfield family.
Okay.
So, so yeah, this thing gooses me, and it fucking hurt. I mean, it was like someone punched me right in the kidney, and I was like, God damn! The whole rest of the night, like I'm fucking hurting, like my sciatic.
Did you
hurts.
bruise up?
I
Yeah.
did. And the
You
next,
fucking bruised
the
up?
next day, I went to the doctor. I
And you
to
had
go
a
to the-
bruise?
By the end of the night, I told him, let me see it, and he had a
Well,
bruise coming up.
We got about like this big.
Wow.
You sure wasn't him just fucking?
I was
punch you
on the
in
other side of the room.
You can
I
see
was
where he's at.
I was trying to. We were fixing to leave to go
There's
You
eat.
gotta
no way
watch
you-
this guy.
And there's
He's a fucking ninja.
Yeah,
He'll come up.
right.
Seriously, do you have all this on camera? Did y'all capture it?
the preview for it's on our shit right now on Paratheory on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Damn it.
Yeah, it goosed me, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" And we did the rest of the night, and we had a ton of stuff go down, and to a point where I was like, it got pretty dark, and we don't usually get into some of the dark stuff, and it got really dark, and the audible audios that we were getting and whatnot was going on. took me 3 days of going through this footage because, like, I thought, okay, this is what happened when we were doing the investigation, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to cut to this stuff. We'll use this as evidence. We'll present it to, the person and say, look, you're not crazy. This is happening in your home, and here's some history of what your house is sitting on, and where this is at, blah blah blah. Wasn't going to be an episode. This was just to help him.
Yeah,
And then
just help him out. Be a buddy.
little by little, I'm going through all these cameras and all these audios, and I'm going,
Got a full show.
Jesus Christ, there's so much. There's so much.
All right, so
Have you gone back out there since that?
That
No,
was our
see,
second time.
That was our
That was-
second
that
time.
was-
We did one, and we were focusing on downstairs, and we didn't have a whole lot happening except upstairs. That music box and the cat ball kept going off like nuts, and downstairs we were having stuff happen with flashlights and this and that. And I was just like, yeah, this happened, and then that's when he told me, he's like, I didn't tell him about the upstairs. He goes, did you guys happen to go upstairs? And I go, well, no, but you told us about the kitchen. And he was like, well, then that's when he told me about his daughter and about going upstairs. And I was like, okay, well, we'll go back, and I'm thinking, Jesus, okay, well,
how much research do you do on a property before you go out there, or a piece of land, or a building, or whatever?
sometimes I'd like to just not do any research.
Okay, so you go in there openly.
Go in there openly, see what happens,
Yeah.
and then see whatever we catch if we can find that in the research, or start doing research. We start having things pop off, then do the research and be like, oh shit, well, this happened, and this guy is, died here, or whatever. These two names connect, and then it makes sense.
Is it always like
Gotcha.
that? Is
No.
there always some kind of connection?
No.
So
I mean-
sometimes you go to a place and there's ghosts flying around. You don't even know why.
Dude, even on this
Or-
one, and I'll let this one out of the box for the show. We're sitting in there doing a spirit box session, and this female's voice is coming through, and it says clearly, you can clearly hear it. It says Corey Dwayne Weiss.
What?
That's my fiddle player's full name. And I showed it to Corey, and he goes, "It sounds like my grandmother." And I'm like,
Does he have
"See,
a
that has
connection to this
that has
joint?
nothing to do with this house. That has nothing to do with this
Might
property."
be you.
That's
You
what
might
I
be.
said.
You,
That's
it
what-
might be. It all might come down to you.
And he was the one
Might
that was
be the
on
thing
Milling
that's-
with us on part 2 of Milling. I don't know if you guys saw 1 or 2.
Oh, we saw one.
Okay.
Saw one.
Yeah. Part 2 was the one where we had the big RF fiasco. where
What
it
was
like-
the? There
Oh,
was.
yeah.
You showed a shadowy figure, like that you didn't think was the lady that was all about Patsy Cline. Looked like a dude kind of figure. Did
Behind
you get
the
to
bar?
the bottom?
Behind
yeah,
the
behind
bar?
right?
Yeah.
Did you get behind? Did you get to the bottom of that? Or
Yeah, they had a guy
was
that worked out there that actually passed away.
And you think that's who it was?
That's who they think it is.
That's who they think it
And
is.
and then also, in specifics to that episode, also, did you find out what the conversations was coming from?
No.
Because I heard that pretty well.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
clear.
yeah.
That is clear as day. You
I
can
mean,
hear.
you're just
and I
like,
was
what
like,
the-
that's
that's a
just
whole
someone
fuck-
standing outside having a conversation.
No,
with
the
her.
only
But-
person that was left there was Jim, who's the quartermaster.
Yeah, so he's the.
The
He
dude
has
in
to be
charge
on.
of it,
If
the
it's
man-
open, he
yeah.
has to be there.
on
Yeah,
site.
it makes sense.
So there's a bar up in the front, and he had it closed to the
VFW
public.
cats get
Yeah.
weird, though,
Now-
man. They like to joke too. You sure he wasn't playing
There
a
was
joke on you, man?
0. It was
What
him
time
and
was
I-
it?
For
by
the-
the way,
2:30 in the morning.
so you
3
try
o'clock.
to do it when there's not going to be a bunch of happen to be people walking around.
Well, we
and stuff,
request that
probably,
too. If we go to a place like that,
Yeah.
we tell them, hey, look, we don't need interference.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's do it in the middle of the
Like,
night.
I'm not, Let me put it to you this way, and I will say this proudly. We're not hoaxing shit. And I'll even go as far as putting one of the biggest fucking hotels on the map that's in Texas as a straight up hoax spot because we caught them at 100% ran head.
What's that?
Jefferson Hotel, Jefferson, Texas.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
One of the most, literally one of the most
Yeah.
haunted hotels in the state of Texas.
yeah,
New owner takes over and fills it like a fucking fun house.
yeah.
I took Chad Kalick, author of like
Made it
Sir No
novelty.
Face, Blood Red Sky, American Haunting. I take this big dog, sold out fucking House of Blues for fucking Sir No Face. He toured the world showing this evidence because he's got the holy grail of footage. And it's some of the best. I mean, Michael Bay's guys got involved trying to test it for CGI. Couldn't figure out shit.
Who did you mention?
Chad Kalick,
Chad Caleb.
yep, author of the movie documentary Sir No Face.
Yeah.
So I take him out there to do one of his events, and what he does is he'll do, ghost hunt with a pro, right? And so it's like a certain amount of people. And we go to a place and we break them up into so if there's 20 people, it's 4 sets of 5 or 2 sets of 10, whatever. And we take them on this half's going here, this half's going here. We're gonna ghost hunt for a night. He shows some never before seen footage. He does a Q&A with them, all this stuff. It's like a 2-night deal. We're up there, and on the second night, there's these knocks coming from this room 19. They're loud, and they come running down the hall. Chad and I are outside talking about everything. It's one of the guests, and they're like, "You're not gonna fucking believe this," and they're losing their shit, right? And I'm like, "Okay." And so I go down into the hall, and I stand in the room with them, and they're like, "Can you make that sound again?" Bam, bam, and it's definitive loud, and I'm like, "Bullshit. That's bullshit." Been
Every
doing
time
this
I go to
my
New
whole
Orleans,
life.
anytime I stay at a hotel in the quarter, especially if it's one that's supposed to be haunted, someone's doing that stuff,
So
farting around. And
Yeah.
this is
knocking on
coming from the
doors
roof.
and
There's
all
nothing
this.
above you but an attic, and then the roof.
That's
Yeah.
where the sound was coming from.
Yes. And so it's definitive. And I'm on cue. I'm give me the, finish this sequence. And it's loud as it can fucking be.
Yeah.
And I'm checking under the bed, looking in the closets, looking in the bathroom, looking under the sinks in there. What the fuck is this? Chad comes down. He goes in. He's looking around. He's like, there's no fucking way. I'm dude, no, this is a hoax. And 100% this is a hoax. And I said, here's what I'm gonna I kind of whispered to him, I'm gonna go down to the end of the hall, and I'm gonna climb up in the attic space. I'm gonna take that big spotlight we got. I'm gonna shine it down the fucking corridor and see if I can see somebody above the room. And sure as shit, here's the fucking owner with a fucking broom handle sitting on top of the room in the attic, pop, pop, hitting the fucking top of the roof. And I scream at him, and he fucking darts off through a little trap door, goes down on this other thing, and then it was over.
I've
And it was
heard-
you fucking
Dick.
idiot.
I've heard the same thing about the Queen Mary. A lot of that is
I mean,
trigger devices
100%.
to make you.
I don't
think
know
there's
that the
ghosts
Queen
in there.
Mary is, but dude, something that size,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, how would you fucking know?
you wouldn't know. And
You
how
wouldn't know.
you're not going to go crawling through a boat trying to figure out if there's an electronic knocker or
100%.
some type of
Right.
music player hidden. It's just Bluetooth to where it plays.
Right.
Whatever. You're not going to know that, but
We make $0 doing this. Zero. Nothing.
That's
we
the
don't have
best way to
sponsors.
approach it.
We're
Honestly,
doing this for
yeah.
us, and that's where it started. And
That's
where
the
we're gonna
best way
keep
to
it at.
approach it because you don't have to worry about, like you said, sponsors or people, advertisers, agendas, whatever.
Right.
You can just be yourself and
Totally.
be truthful with your audience.
Paraflix was when we got the approach on that was
Mhm.
okay, all right, cool platform for paranormal shit. And if people that believe in paranormal want to go watch this,
Yeah.
have at it, And so it was do we keep putting it up to YouTube? Do we keep doing what do we do here? Well, when I found this out, I was like, man, this is all the same family.
yeah,
Let's do this. You know what I mean? And so, and then because I don't I try and keep my music career and this thing separate, and this is a hobby and it's a lot of fun. But holy fuck, is it a lot of work? I didn't expect
Yeah,
it to
bet.
be.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
It's a fucking full hour footage.
So the kind of origin story is this guy over here.
Yeah.
Craig and I shoot shows together. I've known him for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And you started talking about doing this stuff out at, we were at Starplex
Yeah,
or
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Was it the Rob Zombie show?
Yeah, I think so.
And you started talking about it and everything. I was like, okay, so yeah, this is kind of cool. And then I saw you a couple of weeks ago at Tool.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh no, this shit's popping. And you're showing me a picture of something that you had
Can't
found.
talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We can and we can't. That's yeah.
I want to talk about that off air then.
Yeah.
But we were, and I was like, so y'all are hardcore going into this deep. You were like, yeah, go check this out, go do this. And I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
And that's when I went and watched that episode, and then I sent it over to Matt. I was like, you need to watch this and check this out. And we got to get these guys in and see what the hell's going on.
Totally, man.
Because y'all are hitting all the haunts that I dig. Like, I'm an urban explorer when I'm
Yeah.
not shooting shows or, the sports stuff. Except for the haunts.
Just the dog, yeah.
Roxy, get out of here. It's all creepy sounding.
It's just,
But I like urban exploring, going through these old buildings,
Yeah.
these old haunts. The King Candy building, now that Hangman, but it was the old FAA building. All the stuff out in Mineral Wells.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff in Weatherford, although all that stuff's being taken over.
Have you guys gone to Goatman's Bridge yet?
no.
Is that-
I've been out there before.
Out
Where
in
is
the
that?
bridge.
Well, I mean, fuck, it's like, have you seen it lately?
No.
We were out by there. And I was like, hey, we gotta stop by and see what it looks like now. And they're like, it's still there. And then there's this really badass neighborhood right next to
Right
it.
next to it.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I
so
knew
the
they'd been
pictures, people are like,
building
we're
out
at
there.
Goatman's Bridge tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right next to a multi-million-dollar neighborhood.
Yeah, that is a
across the street.
if you go on the weekends, like I've done a lot of photo shoots up there. If you go there on the weekends, it turns into a line of photographers with their people and everything. It's like you got to take turns using his stuff. It's Goatman's Bridge kind of out of it.
There's a
but
lot of places, man, that are out there that you know that have weekly, I mean nightly, that are selling out like 6 people at a time, $250 to $300 per person. Spend the night here, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Get the fuck out.
that's like a New
You know, and
Orleans
they're-
ghost
they're-
tours.
Right, and
Yeah.
they're doing all these, and it's like, so I always tell him, I'm like, I don't want to fucking go do these places. Let's go do shit that like no one's ever seen. You know, just be like, yes.
The we're having all sorts of issues, and I blame it on y'all. Reconnection
Probably
issues, there's
Justin.
audio issues, there's all sorts of stuff. I'm blaming it on
Just
y'all
tell Craig.
with the YouTube feed. But so we went out there. It hadn't been touched. There were still the shops underneath. There was an old lady that ran a resale shop down there, and her daughter gave us a tour. And the reason we got this tour is because there was a Girl Scout troop spending the night there, and we were outside shooting around it. And we look up, and there's this little girl's face in a window, waving at us. And I was like, "Am I the only one seeing this, guys? This is what the fuck's going on?" And then she disappeared and came to another window and stuck her arm through and starts yelling at us. And then another little girl's face. We're like, "Are y'all? What
y'all
is
seeing
this?" And
this?
she's like, "Go to the front door." So we went to the front door, and there was a Girl Scout mom there that told us everything. It was like, "Okay, here you go." And we went back. We went down to the store, and the lady there was like, her daughter was like, "Here." We told her what we were doing. She's like, "Well, she'll give you a tour." And we basically had run of the place.
That's awesome.
And this is
That's
the
awesome.
Girl Scouts were there. They had in the old theater room.
Yeah.
They had the band shell and everything low, not the one up top. but
Right,
the
yeah,
one
yeah,
low,
the one downstairs.
downstairs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where they had set up all their sleeping bags and
Oh,
everything.
that's cool. Yeah.
So she gave us a quick nickel tour, and we went through it. Now, my grandmother worked there, and my aunt had worked there. My aunt had worked there when the guy was crushed in the
Gotcha.
elevator
Yeah.
by supposedly Old Man Baker.
Sure.
The daughter gave us a tour and told us, and this was the creepiest thing, and this is one of the times I felt the most creeped out while
Okay.
I'm there. And you know, my theory is when you're told things have happened in this building, kind of like, you
Sure.
know, researching. That's why I asked about research beforehand. When you're told things about a building or a particular spot, your brain starts running,
Absolutely.
and it starts affecting the way you feel about things. Well, we're walking through this area, and this, at the time, the spa level still had all the spa beds,
Yeah.
the colonic beds,
Yeah, I remember that.
all that, the spa boxes, because
Yeah.
I have a picture of me in one of the spa boxes
Oh,
with my
wow.
head sticking
Yeah,
out. We hopped up on one of the colonic tables just for the hell of it, you know, just funny. So everything was still, you know, it wasn't molested. It was really nice
Right.
in there. And we walk in this area, and I'm like, man, this is fucking weird. And I have a picture of it, and I actually have a piece of art made out of it in the house. But I was like, this just feels fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it was the steam room.
Yeah.
And she told us that, you know, there was a worker there that had gotten picked on by a bunch of guys. And one night, he was just like, "Hey guys, let's all call it good. Let's have beers, and we'll go up, you know, after hours, and we'll hang out
Sure.
in the steam room, whatever." And he coaxed them all going in there.
Right.
And shut the door, locked it, cranked it up, killed them all.
Damn.
Wow.
And I was
Didn't know
like,
that.
I didn't
you
either.
know, she told us the whole story about that, and I was like, oh,
Ooh.
is that why I
Just
feel very
baked 'em.
weird about this corner?
Maybe,
Yeah, just
yeah.
cooked them. And then
Wow.
she told us about the bride, which every fucking hotel across
What is that?
Texas
What is
has
that? Let them cook. Yeah.
every hotel, I think, every old hotel in Texas has a bride that committed suicide on her wedding day.
Oh, sure.
You know, jumped out. I
Yeah.
mean,
Or
you hear that
nun.
all the time.
Hung
Nun
herself.
hung
Yeah.
themselves.
Fucking slid
Yeah.
down the fucking
Jumped out
banister
the-
wrong.
yeah.
I used to give the story about the guy being crushed. You know, oh, that's full of shit. Until my grandmother said, no, I was there. I worked there
Wow.
Damn.
when that happened.
Wow.
And my aunt worked there when some kids drowned in the pool.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. You know,
Right.
that's strange.
Yeah.
But supposedly the guy that was crushed was banging Baker's wife.
Ah.
He found out about it, wanted to have a meeting with it, and they have a service elevator that went to the kitchen and then went down into the basement. And as they were talking, you know, he pushed him in the elevator shaft and the elevator crushed
No,
him.
no more fucking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, you walk that building, other than that spot, I never felt weird or strange except for when your mind starts running with things.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, you know, I took a bunch of pictures in there. I have a whole book of pictures from inside the Baker before
Yeah.
Graffiti Land. You know, they still had Bonnie and Clyde's room set up.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not 100% set up, but it had the beds.
I
and
always
the-
thought the cloud room was just bad fucking ass.
And the whole mob story behind the Cloud Room.
Yeah.
Did you go up to their little viewing room?
Yes.
I was like, that's fucking
Fucking
cool as
Yes.
shit.
I mean, you're standing in a place where you're like,
Where
Dude.
mob guys were doing
Dude.
business,
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing prohibition
Yeah.
shit, and then going up in the bell tower, going up in the elevator and all that. But
Yeah.
that Cloud Room, you know, when hopefully that hotel reopens, that Cloud
Soon.
Room
Yeah.
has got to be like the primo spot in
Not
all of
to-
North Texas to go hang out in.
Not to let it cut out of the bag, but we are going to be trying to put together an event because we have a lot of people that always want to come and do one with us, and so we are trying to get the Baker to hold an event there in Mineral Wells, home of Crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a few things right there that we're going to do, like a 2-night investigation, and just bring some friends along.
Well, count us in.
Yeah, dude. Love to have y'all out.
Heck yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
Will there be refreshments?
absolutely.
Will there be a mushroom?
Yeah,
Well, then
Yeah.
we'll see everything.
we'll have it all. We'll have it all. Everyone walks away a believer.
Yes. Now what is, you know, what's the creepiest place y'all done so far?
What do you think?
I don't know. They've all had different things.
I mean, getting knuckled in the side's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yeah,
That's
and it
When
hurt.
we were,
You
when
got
we were at
frog, dude.
I honestly thought somebody had broke in. The way it felt, I thought somebody was standing behind the bathroom door. I swear to God, I was like, my first reaction was when I go forward, I turn around, I come back like fist ready because I thought somebody was standing behind the door, or maybe even the owner of the home was there and fucking with me. You know, like that's.
Do y'all fear that? Do y'all take anybody else with you? Just kind of watch the outside, watch perimeter, make sure no one gets in
You
there.
guys
We're
packing
not, we're
heat?
not. We're not there.
Do y'all
yes,
pack heat? Okay.
100%.
I was gonna say.
I 100% would.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the thing about like people say, man, you should go to this old building. It looks haunted as shit.
Freaking homeless
there-
people
Okay,
in there.
it looks haunted as shit. Okay, doesn't mean that it is. But
Yeah.
The biggest thing you're fearing is like squatters.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
That's the
Um,
big thing with urban exploration.
Project Fear, Dakota Layton and those guys.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Love watching them because what they're doing is, if to me, just looks like pure fun. They're not really going out trying to prove or disprove. They're just going out to haunted places and filming them
Freak
getting
themselves
the
out. Yeah.
freaked out, right? And it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And I love watching it because I'm just like, man, these kids are having the time of their life. This is awesome. And they're doing it as a full-time career now on YouTube, and it's fucking killer.
You should go
Yeah.
to that. What was that church we were hanging out a few weeks ago around the holidays? The one I showed up. You guys were there, and we
Oh.
had some mushrooms and stuff.
Presbyterian Hall.
You guys
or
should go there and
Southside,
check it out.
Preservation Hall.
There's been a lot of stuff that's
Where's it
happened in that building,
Down there off.
and they would be open for you guys to come in, especially if we went. 'cause
They're having shows there now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And
really?
it's the old. There's an old chapel in front, but there's an old theater in the back. I can show you pictures.
It's cool.
We got a little tour.
It's
of
really
it.
cool.
Going.
I'd be totally. You guys got a contact on
theater.
that?
It's cool.
Yeah, I'd love to give him a call.
Yeah.
But that place is cool, and it seems like a place where shit went down.
Yeah, because there's so much
It's
old
as fuck,
stuff
so.
in there that the spirit of humans is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some.
Something.
Yeah, if not, man, I'm taking my.
I
Ouija
love
home.
taking skeptics.
Fucking
Like, if you
burning
guys
it.
ever wanted to go on one and just go have some
Yeah,
fun
we
for
will.
a few hours,
We were already talking about
would
that. How
absolutely love-
we just
Yeah, being
because
skeptical and seeing.
doesn't mean we're not down for the hunt.
right?
sure.
Sure.
I just haven't seen anything that's completely proven.
Because you
to me.
can't make it happen, right?
Right,
You
right.
go into we go into
Yeah.
places and sit there and it's just like, right.
But I like going to cool places. Like when I was a kid, like we used to trudge around the Houston like sewers and stuff. We'd go into vacant
Oh, yeah.
the houses. Whatever. I was always getting into.
You know what I
stuff like
really
that.
want to do, man? I think would just be
Two chicks.
tits. Besides two
At the
chicks.
same time, man.
Yeah, you don't need $1 million to do that, right? The old tunnels in Fort Worth,
Oh yeah.
downtown,
Now-
the old subway.
The old subway,
I
I've been
wanna
trying to
go
get
down
in
there, too.
forever.
So my
And-
cousin used to work security there,
Yeah.
and he would. I didn't have no clue about it. And
Yeah.
he was telling me about it. I was like, what? And then I started digging and digging and digging and digging and finding out about like the Knights of Columbus had a lot to do with this.
So did you never ride the subway in?
No,
Really?
there's more than the subway.
Yeah.
There's a lot more.
Oh,
than the
there's a
subway.
lot more than the subway.
Yeah,
I worked for a company before the company I work for now.
because it ran down to the Tandy Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is also a
Is that the
giant
hub?
tunnel that runs under Fort Worth for flood purposes.
Is
that you can drive a tank through.
Yeah.
It's huge.
But subbed off of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
are these escape tunnels.
That's what the
that are
Tandy Center's the main hub, right? Where it all kind of meets
Well,
up.
Tandy's
Is
not
the
there
central-
anymore.
Well, I
No.
mean the underground.
Yes, part of it.
It's a little more towards Main Street.
Yeah.
Like the one I went in that was just like, what is this doing in the middle of Fort Worth? What
One of the old
is
carts
this?
is still
Why do
down
we
there.
have the French catacombs in Fort Worth?
Now there are catacombs in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I
100
know.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, there
So-
are catacombs in Fort Worth.
I got snuck in, and I don't care if I get in trouble now. It's been fucking 20 years.
Yeah,
So
I think you're
whatever.
good with the statute of limitations.
Remember, okay, downtown Fort Worth, where Ados was at, and then the original Flying Saucer.
Yep.
Okay, you were staring at the door of Flying Saucer, and then to the left, there was that parking lot that went around the back.
Mhm.
There was a little guard shack right there,
Okay.
right by the front door. You know what I'm talking about? That
Yeah.
wasn't a guard shack.
Is the
It
door.
looked
the
like
way
a
down?
guard shack. That was the way in. You opened the door, and then there was a
Son
door on
of
the
a
floor, and
bitch.
you opened that up. And just
Fucking Betsy Price.
down you went.
Damn.
And so he
Or-
took me down there, and it was showing me that it was like just tunnel after tunnel after tunnel after tunnel, and they're all filled with like one's flour, one's it's all survivals.
Yeah.
all of them. And I'm like, what the hell? Beds. One room I went in probably had 200 beds in it, and then they were all like bunk beds. They're stacked like 5 high, like big, tall ass bunk beds, and like not a double. What are they, like a single? What are they
Twin.
called? Twin.
That
And I was
I
like, son of a bitch, what are they doing with all these? Well, they were planning for the war, World War III. If we went to World War III, this is going to be the escape route. He goes,
that's
and
what it
he
was.
started,
Cold War.
then I started, what was that movie that came out? I can't remember what it was. They were all leaving some sort of future movie or whatever. And they all
Post-apocalyptic.
all the millionaires had this ticket to get on the spaceship to get out of Dodge because the world was ending.
I think that's called about to happen.
Right.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. It was
We're
like
living
you,
in that time.
Yeah.
The Bass family,
Right.
they all were in on this, and this is where they were going to go. And if they were downtown, this is where, which made an eyebrow raise back during what was it, like 90? Was it 98, 97 when the big tornado hit downtown, and all
I
chaos
was in the
was breaking.
studio and didn't.
All
that
all
happened.
chaos was breaking
Damn.
loose, but they wouldn't let anybody in the
Pro
tunnels.
Tools.
Yeah.
It was like they had nowhere to go. It was like they had plenty of places to
You
go.
have plenty of places
Plenty.
to go.
Plenty of entry ports.
I got into the big tunnel when they were building Bass Hall.
Oh wow.
I was down there. It was 96, 97 when
Yeah.
they were building Bass Hall, and we were told where, at the time, I was taking care of all the. There's a massive run of communication cables that runs in there, and we protected them while they were digging around. And a guy's like, "All right, I'm going to show you something. It's going to blow your mind because it runs right beside Bass Hall." and we went down there and I was like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, well, this is for flooding, just in case. And I was like,
Flooding.
well, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, to reroute the Trinity under downtown in case it
No.
floods, none of that makes sense. And since then, I've gone to both ends of where it should come up, and
Yeah.
it doesn't come up.
Right.
So I was like, well, none of that makes any fucking sense whatsoever.
So where we're sitting, go back down here to 26, take a right, go down to, what is that, the old Halton High that sits up on top of the hill?
Yeah.
Right there in that big, gigantic causeway of ditches that run down there, you'll notice down at the bottom of it, there's 3 tunnels right
Yeah.
there. If you go in that tunnel and keep cruising, it'll take you all the way to the tunnels of Fort Worth. Till you hit like literally a chain link gate and bars where you can't get through. Don't ask me
Yeah.
about that.
I need an electric scooter to ride.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Right.
we didn't have one back then. We had bicycles.
Yeah. So do you ever go to churches? Like, do churches open themselves up for you to do that? Because it seems like a church would be a place that there would be a lot of spirits too, or entities.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier about TV.
It's-
And like, if you were to prove it, kind of deal. That like, I don't think the church is going to agree with it.
well,
kind of thing.
yeah, that's
But
what I was.
what
gonna
about vacant churches? Like, there's one I can tell you about. It's about
Vegan,
2
yes,
hours.
but like a Catholic church.
They're gonna
walking
give
in,
you
Yeah,
problems.
yeah, you know.
They're going to be like, well, you can
What if
sure
they,
walk around here. You got
wonder
5
if,
minutes.
I wonder how many priests think something's going on in the churches and stuff because they've witnessed it, but they don't want to like tell guys like you because they don't want the stigma put on their church or something.
Yeah.
You know,
What's the ultimate place you want to go check out and hang out?
is there
in
any
and-
haunted brothels?
Working?
Right,
Let's
where
go
the
find
where the
them.
ghosts come out and
Now we before the question I just asked, we do have a friend that was molested by a ghost.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Have you had any kind of sexual experience that's been
No.
reported to you from other people? Where like Ghostbusters, where my pants got unbuckled or
No,
anything?
no. We had Jesus. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to say his name. It was,
Does a ghost blowjob feel like a regular blowjob?
there was this guy that we knew that it was.
You knew.
Well, okay. I knew him. Introduced you to him. We worked one job with him, and then he'd be doing the SD session, and he'd have his headphones on, the blindfold. He's like, "This fucking ghost is hitting on me."
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
Like saying she wants to.
"Oh, she wants to fuck me." "Oh, she just said she wants to what? No, she wants to what?" And I'm like,
He goes, I can't repeat that.
"All right, this is awkward, you know." And then
He was sexually harassing the ghost.
The ghost
or
was
it
sexually harassing him.
I think it was the other way around. Though.
Yeah.
He was just telling you that.
Yeah.
I have a sexual
And
harassment
then, like,
case
literally,
on our
like,
hands.
the next time I worked with them, same thing happened. And then here recently, they just released an episode. And then it, sure enough, it happens on there. I'm like, come on. This is just too much.
I was around him twice and I said, I'm done.
So do y'all do the trick? Like I saw this on that Osbourne's episode I watched, the Jack Osbourne episode I watched, where they brought in someone completely blindfolded.
Yeah.
Didn't tell them where they were. Didn't tell them what was
Oh,
going
no.
on.
It's
But
called
just-
the Estes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you use noise canceling. I'll use my in-ears and
Yeah.
plug up, and then blindfold, and then he'll get away like however many feet. I can't hear him. I have the radio going, it's scanning through channels, and so it's playing like in my ear real loud. And then he'll start asking questions, and then I'm just repeating out loud what I'm hearing coming through the radio, whether he's asking questions or not. But if he's asking questions, and then I'm answering what's coming off the radio, that's replying into what he's saying, and it's goes together.
Making
then
sense.
You're communicating. With
yeah.
something. Yeah,
That's cool.
Interesting.
yeah, it's really cool. And on this last episode, we've done it several times, but this is the one time that it actually worked.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, holy shit. When I was going back over the footage, I was like, God damn, we were nail on the head with this one.
But Craig's never been molested by a ghost. He's never been rubbed down.
No.
Nothing.
His wife had her hair
Yeah, my
pulled.
wife had her hair pulled at Milling Sanitarium Part 2.
Mm.
Did you get that on film?
From
Could
behind.
you see it?
I
Come on,
know.
Laura.
It's like, were you jealous?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to go
Someone's
beat
getting
up
a
a
little
guy?
I wasn't
handsy.
even there.
You're like,
Like Wyatt Earp's in there getting
I'm gonna
handsy
find
with her
this-
wife, man.
I'm gonna find this ghost, and I'll make sure he doesn't
Be
live
called
through
Ghostbusters.
there.
Girl.
Have you guys seen the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man yet?
No.
Damn.
No. There's
Not
hope.
yet.
Come on,
There's always
stay
hope.
puft.
Get up to New
Yeah.
York.
What did you
Yeah.
say,
Maybe we'll
Ray?
take a field trip up there with y'all.
What did you say?
Yeah.
So, yeah, go back to
What did
the
you
question
do?
I asked. Do y'all have an ultimate spot you want to go check out?
Flat top.
Or one of those places that are you're like, this place seems super awesome. I want to go check it out.
Man, I think it's in Detroit. It's called the Eagle. It's a big live music venue. I want to play there. I think it's Detroit. I've seen plenty of photos and pictures and videos of this place, but I've always heard stories. But they never let anybody come in there and do the investigation. And we were trying there for a while. I was like, man, that'd be really fucking cool because my old band loves this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, what if we did a tour where we play a gig and then the next night we come back and do an investigation, and then we fuck off the third day and go to the next gig. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. No one's going to pay us to do that shit. I was like, but they'll pay us for the gig. And then we got to figure out another day of staying there. Man, no.
Nothing?
Not really. Just places that have never been done, but that have a history, that have a story to tell.
Yeah.
That's cool to me. I don't like the Hill House and Mineral Wells or like Baker Hotel, for example. It's been done.
Yeah.
It's been done 100 times, and it's like, what are you going to show that the last guy didn't show? You know what I mean? And what story are you going to tell that hasn't been told? Now, you told me about this guy getting crushed tonight, and I'm like, I never heard that. That's awesome.
There's a place in Keller too. I'm pretty sure when they were putting that bank right there at Main Street, 1709.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure a safe dropped on one of the workers and killed them.
Damn.
I believe so. On the corner of 377 and 1709, there's a bank around there, and I believe that there was an accident where a guy got smushed by a big safe.
It's like 100 Ways to Die in the West when the ice falls on that guy. It's
now, I will say, like,
safe,
the
bam.
thing that is cool is helping people. Like,
Yeah.
helping this last
buddy.
guy and tell
Yeah.
him, like, look, yeah, you do have something. Do I think it's going to hurt you? I don't. It may punch the shit out of me. So there's a 50-50 line there. I don't
Yeah.
know. What to tell you? Now we can have a priest.
You're
come
just
over and
giving
bless
the
place, but
information.
we're not
Yeah.
exterminators.
Yeah,
we're not
right.
going in and be
You're
like, we
just-
got it in a box.
Not
Let's take it.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, right. That's not what we do.
Right.
We're just giving you evidence. And I even say in the intro of that video, like, I'm really hoping we don't catch anything, because those are really nice people, and they don't.
So-
I don't want them to have to, especially that little girl. She's 11.
That guy should just bounce anyway. He should
Well,
leave.
Totally, I
Yeah.
agree.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean,
Break lease.
I don't know if this is in the episode or not because you haven't released it yet. But, like, what's his outcome? Does he talk about that? Do y'all have that?
When I talked to him about it, I said, look, and I know he's been like in a shit area, so it's like hard for him to talk. No cell phone reception, that kind of thing. He finally calls me when he did have it, and we talked about it. He's like, well, what's the verdict? And I was like, well, you're not crazy. Yes, there is something going on. Do we know what it is? No. Here's the evidence of what we had happen. First of all, I wasn't going to do a episode for this, but now I'm thinking about it. I need your approval for that. But we're not going to say your name. We're not going to say the neighborhood. We're leaving all that nameless.
Right.
But we did have enough stuff happening here that was kind of mind blowing, and I want to show that to people. Well, he goes, well, what's your advice? I go, get the fuck out. Have a priest come by and do a blessing on the home. And that, a lot of the times, does help a lot. Have somebody come in just to bless the home.
But in
people
that
do that all the
thing you
time.
have to believe in.
See, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
well, I mean,
that's an
his
agenda
whole
that
house
you
is
got to believe
riddled
in.
with, and that's the thing about, like, when he said, like, I'm 100% skeptic. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me put it to you this way. Whether you believe or you don't believe, and I say this all the time to anybody skeptical. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Yes, no. Do you believe in the devil? Yes, no. And most of the time people go, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus Christ.
And you're already buying into
You
it.
believe
then
you
you-
believe in the devil?
Right.
Oh, that's
Then
the
you have
whole that's
belief
the
in
Holy
something?
Spirit.
Yeah.
You think there's just one ghost? You think there's just one Holy Ghost?
Yeah.
Like, and when you go down that path of religion and you follow religion, to say that there is nothing more than just that is
You're,
asinine.
you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Totally.
With your
Well, it's the
argument.
same
Then
thing.
your
Like-
belief is bullshit.
And that's the same thing as believing that we're the only intelligent life forms in the entire freaking galaxy.
Right.
You know, if you, believing that is just kind of like what?
Some of the
No.
best advice I ever got was like, "Do you believe in the devil, Justin?" I go, "I don't know." Well, he believes in you 100%. Yeah, and he will do anything he can to ruin you.
Yeah,
The
that's
And
true.
I was
So,
like, okay.
when
well,
did you
that makes
guys launch
sense.
this again? When did the show actually launch?
Last year we
It's been
did
a year.
the Cranfield House. We released on episode 1. It was on YouTube, which you can check out. And then we came back later. I got really busy with my band, and then it was like, are we going to do this? Because we did
Fucking
one,
Band's getting in the way, man.
and then we did the Crazy 8
Yeah.
bar and grill out there where they had a. We show the footage on there too. They had this this tequila glass that was empty. It was like a skull, tequila, whatever. Anyway, it flew off the top of the bar in the middle of the night. Their CCTV cam got it.
One of them did it during at working hours.
Yeah.
It
During-
comes off and then just drops.
I mean, it looks like someone's holding it and just went.
So, since you've done it about a year,
Yep.
Do you guys get tips like to people? Hey, man, you know, like are you building momentum where people are knowing you guys more as the
A
pair
little
of
bit.
guys than the band? And if so, are they starting to, are people starting to come out of the woodworks and give you little hints here and there? Hey, man, why don't you go by this place and check this out?
People that watch do that when we talk to them about it. Some people don't want to talk about it at all. Or, I mean, like the Platinum Music Complex down here. You know, that's going to be the episode 8. That'll be the last episode for season 1. And when I went down there, we're in the process of releasing a new record. So I was looking for a room to do our live recording in. And they've got this live room. And by pure chance, I'm down at Hooters eating lunch, and I see this truck, and it says Platinum on the side of it. I see the dude driving. I'm like, hey, man, you the manager? And he's like, oh, I own the place. Dwayne, great guy. And talked with him for a minute, and we go down. He's like, yeah, dude, I'll show you this room. We got a podcast room, blah, blah. He's like, kind of give me a tour. And then I run into Presley, and Presley's like, hey, man, I'm a huge fan of Parent Theory. Are you here to see the jail? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, the original North Richland Hills PD jail is in here. And I go, oh, that's fucking crazy. My grandfather was the first police chief of Richland Hills. How nuts.
I spent the night there.
So did I.
I was like, I didn't fucking know that. He's like, yeah, dude, we got crazy shit that happens in this thing all the time. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, well, let's go down and check it out. So I go down and check it out. And it's like, as soon as you walk through the door, first of all, if you've been to jail, you know that feeling.
That
You're
jail's
like-
creepy anyway.
Yeah,
It feels
it was.
weird.
It
It's
was
loud.
fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Now, out of all the shit we've done, this is the one that A, internally pissed me off. B, my head was fucking ringing when we left that place. C, we had shit happening that it was out of the norm of what we're used to, and I was kind of spaced when
We were having
we
issues
left.
with gear all the time.
Batteries just getting sucked dry. Just we'd be sitting there and be 250 on the battery, and 5 minutes later it'd be at 180. It was like, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. These cannons will go all night. If they're
Yeah.
Canon XA10, XA40,
Mhm.
they'll go all night.
I wonder
one
if
battery.
it's there was so much presence of evil that goes through a jail probably.
Something. So.
That
Well,
it's just stuck there.
the
man.
shit that we caught, like on the spirit box, we do this thing too, where like we'll set up the trigger objects, and we'll leave, and we'll. God damn it, Band-Aid's got the shit out of my hand today.
Are they more active sometimes when you leave them alone
Well,
and
I
just
like
leave?
to let the room settle,
Right.
and we'll leave and we'll go eat dinner, and we'll just leave the cameras rolling for 2 hours. We got cameras all over the place, trigger ops, and then I'll go back and look at that footage later and see like, I wonder if anything set up, and most of the time, no. In this place, we had REM pod going off, cat balls getting moved, motion sensors turning on. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this place was just somebody just walking around in here. And
Did you do a follow up on that one too? Did you
no,
go back?
I'm not going back to that fucking place.
Me
It
neither.
rocked your world.
I'm not going back to that building.
crazy.
Fuck that. I told.
I guess we're not going to get a
Wait.
room there.
Dwayne, I just went down. We just did an interview with him last Friday,
Yeah.
where we went down and talked about Platinum and all. And we're getting everything edited up for it. He was like, "You want to go down and do something in the jail?" I go, "No, I'm good, man. I'm
So
good."
the night I spent the night there, they
You
they
got a
didn't turn
cheese
the
sandwich.
oh shittier than that. Some froze dry hamburger that they just threw in the microwave and they just handed to us. But
I just got a cheese sandwich.
they didn't turn the lights off at all the entire night. They kept in
Yeah.
the cell. They kept, and there was another guy in there, and I was on the top bunk and had to cover head up with a blanket because it was just lights on all night. But what creeped me out, and still creeps me out to this day, was the drunk tank that's around the corner. from where the cells were.
Oh yeah, the solitary
Yeah,
confinement.
that's where they used to put the drunks in or whatever.
Right.
But hearing someone scream and moan and freaking out because they were coming down off something all fucking night long.
So we
while
had
under arrest,
we have this little.
creep me the fuck out, and it's that sound is still in my head. If I think about that jail, that's what comes in there.
And then so you know what I'm talking about, the reverb in that place. Deafening.
Yeah, you drop a pin in there, and it sounds like a shotgun going off.
Yes.
That's why I was so surprised when I found out it got turned into a rehearsal studio.
Well, everything else around it is killer, but the jail itself is untouched.
The old city hall, or the old city council room is now a live room, right?
Yeah, that's yes, it is. And then the courtroom is Presley Miller's office, which is dope as shit. And then what's his name with? I can't remember his band's name. Jesus, Therma. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where they rehearse at. And you go in there, it's like a courtroom. I'm like, how dope is this shit?
That's
cool.
badass.
Yeah, it's fucking huge. Yeah, dude, that place is, and that was the thing is like when we got into, we went in the last part of the video. We went into what was it? Interrogation room, and we're sitting in there, and I'm nauseated. He's nauseated. Like we're sick to our stomach. I'm like.
We were in there for almost an hour.
Like talking, asking questions, and we're not getting much response. And that's sometimes how shit goes. It's like you think you're not getting shit, you know, and all these feelings play on, right? And then you go into editing, and you start going through the footage, and it's like, Jesus, we caught way more than we fucking thought we did. When you're in the moment, you're thinking about what to say, you're thinking about what to ask. You're not paying attention to the spirit box. That thing's going off in front of you. It's scanning all the stations. The audio's coming out in reverse. But then when you have like Rode mic set up and you got a lav mic, etc., that audio's kind of squashing it down a little bit. Then you're not hearing the ambience of the room. You're like, did that just fuck? We didn't hear that while we were sitting there. But then you hear this audio come through and it's saying something that you 100% know that it's literally talking to you because it's describing something in the room with you. It's talking to you. You know, it said my name, like my fiddle player's name. It said it. Like, how do you explain that? You know, so there is the thing about paratheory. It's like it's a theory of what's happening, and we're just trying to figure out what the fuck that is. How do we get into a house and investigate something for a family, and then it calls out my fiddle player's name? How the fuck does that happen? It's not an attachment. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's
you, man.
You open the door to it, and it's gonna come in. You know what I mean?
So that was going to be my next question: is what is your theory behind this? Do you think it's people on a different plane? Do you think it's actual people that have passed away and are in a state of nirvana or limbo or whatever, and trying to figure out how to get the rest of the way?
I think we, as humans, think about heaven, hell, and dimensions, correct? Like we just think that we either turn to dust and that's it, or you die and you go to heaven, or you're a bad guy and you go to hell. You know, there's no in between.
That's the way you're kind of screamed at when you go to church.
You look at the right, and then you look at the last decade and what scientists have been studying with like drugs like DMT. You know, and the
clock trolls and stuff.
And here's 20 dudes around the world
all seeing the same.
That don't watch Joe Rogan. That don't pay attention to this shit, and they're being tested, and they're all coming out saying the same shit in that fucking 11 minutes, saying, dude, I was here, I saw this fucking thing, it turned into this, they took me down, I was looking through the eyes of all these different people, I was in a whole world for fucking 20 minutes, it felt like, or fucking 20 hours. They're all saying the same shit. And it's like, so what if the theory is that, what if it's just when you wave your hand and you feel the air, what if we're just
energy
brushing the wall of what is right here in front of us on the other side? It's fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional. And we're through devices, through things, so that we're able to, on our side, connect with it, but we don't know what it can see on its side. Or maybe it's just same thing. Maybe there's dudes in a room across the world asking questions, doing the same thing, and we're talking to each other, and we don't even fucking know it.
Yeah, like two cups with a string,
Yeah.
It's all the way down in China or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what if you're talking to something that is human,
Just coexisting with us
or
in a different way.
imprint in time kind of deal? One thing you brought up earlier was, one of y'all brought up, it was about the EMF, right? Go for it.
Hold on.
That thing, picking up those fields coming in, right?
Yeah.
We did we're doing it this Friday. We're doing this other place. It's in Arlington, and we've been there before. And it was with that team we were talking about, and the guy who got hit on all the time. We were in this barn
By the ghost?
when we
Yeah.
were in there, and we had REM pods set up on the floor, and we had one set up at first, and we're sitting in this old barn, and the place used to belong to Colonel Waples, who had a lot to do with like our Swiss factories and our Kincaid's. You know Kincaid's, okay.
Yeah.
So before it was Kincaid's, it was just a grocery store.
Yep.
So he owned that. He owned a bunch of these dry goods stores. So he's also part of why the railroad runs from Fort Worth into Dallas.
He helped
And-
build Nile City,
That was
right?
crazy.
That was crazy.
Um,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Timing.
Railroad runs from Fort Worth to Arlington, and it goes right past his house. It's right over like where Dream World used to be at.
I know where this is.
Yeah. They do pumpkin nights over there.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So this old mansion that sits up on the hill.
Yeah.
Well, this belonged to Colonel Waples. And the very train and greed that he put in to have that fucking thing drop off his goods at his house and all this money he was making and all this just dark, dark history that we've looked into. Now, this one we have investigated before we go in. That train killed him. It ran over him right there in front of his fucking house.
Yeah, that's what
his
I've heard.
his just car broke down on the railroad tracks. There's actual documents to show that that is a proven deal, right? There was also a prostitute that was found dead in the ditch out there right in front of his house. This was like in 2001. Then we find out some really dark things about the house itself and about the people that used to go there, and the elite of Fort Worth and the elite of Dallas, and how they used to party there, and how there was like a trafficking ring going on.
What I had heard, there was also secret tunnels and stuff for
So,
prohibition
that lead
to
from
go
the-
to different spots.
The Baptist College on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Yes, but they've caved. They've completely caved in now. So that's all.
Okay.
That would be great to do, the college on top of the hill, because they're still finding tunnels up there. They're
Yeah.
still to this day finding all these secret tunnels down through there, which is awesome.
I had always heard they were for, like, there was a big mob presence around that college and around some of the houses around there
100%.
during Prohibition era.
Yeah, and Right
And they
River
would
City.
use them to move around.
Right River City was riddled with the mob.
Are you guys getting any connections with cats that have done it like you guys? Not the I want to be on, Net Geo or Nat Geo or
I've talked
Discovery
to Jason Hawes quite a bit.
How long has he done it?
Oh my God! They started Ghost Hunters and Taps back in 92.
So I wonder if there's been more activity recently in the last few years and stuff with the growth of technology. And the reason I ask that is because we're distracted right now.
Sure.
So spirits, if obviously they're intelligent because they keep messing with you guys, right?
Sure.
They know that there's distractions now, so they can freely move around a lot more and not
Maybe.
be seen or even.
But I don't think it's that, because I think it's been happening forever. I think the technology is just allowing us to communicate more now than ever. I mean, you think
Well,
about like Lorraine Warren, right? I mean, they were the first pros on the scene,
Right.
and when people were like, "You're full of shit," and they're doing exactly what we're doing. We're doing exactly what they're very analog. They were using audio and video, and she was an empath, and they had shit happen that was astronomically, to this day, proven by the church that this actually happened. From a kid walking up the fucking wall to like crazy
messed up.
possessions to just you name it. The Warrens went through all of it.
They saw demons and ghosts.
I mean, they saw 100% of it.
I just wonder, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just crazy you say that about being distracted, because there's a lot of times we won't be getting anything going on, we'll just start bullshitting with each other, and then shit just starts popping off.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
it's
was
like,
saying.
hey,
They're-
pay attention to me again.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
We'll be
exactly
asking
right.
questions, getting no answers back.
I could
We'll
see
just
the
start talking, and then they just starts going off.
I can see the afterlife being frustrated with today's humans because all we do is stare into screens all the
Yep.
time. And another question that I had too is there any correlation between a disastrous place like let's say 9/11, like if you went to the towers, would there be more activity at a place like that because so many people perish there, or does it matter at all in your experience?
I don't know. I mean,
Like if we went up to
Sure.
Oklahoma
Well,
City to
Hold
the
on a second.
site?
I'm glad you brought this up because I have a story that I saved for you guys. We were going to talk about it last week, but I saved for you.
Okay.
Because I think this might be a good place to go check out. You're going to have to go to Colorado.
okay.
This is an older story, but more news keeps coming out. This couple was arrested.
Well, I already know where you're going with this.
Do you?
Yeah, the couple that was like just storing bodies in the back, just not disposing of them, just storing
Oh,
them
they
back
had
there.
the crematorium, and
Yeah.
they were
They
just
had a crematorium.
taking
They had
the
one
money.
of those. It was one of those eco-friendly. We're going to return you to the earth,
The earth.
whatever.
You're
gonna
Blah
become
blah blah.
mulch.
And
We're
instead
gonna
they were
be a
just
tree.
chunking them in a
They were
storage
just
bin.
chunking them
Gonna
into
mix you with a
a-
bunch of horse shit.
What this says is they stored 190 bodies in a shed, and that when investigators found it, there was fluid, body fluid,
It was
decomposing
like a
bodies,
biohazard.
animals, rodents, bugs crawling out of everything, and that they had just taken these people money and just tossed their loved one into basically a big giant barn.
Good gosh.
I don't think
man.
that makes it haunted. I think that makes it just these people are fucking sick.
Well, if you,
They are
I could.
pretty
Well,
sick.
I mean, I could see where there could be some emotions from some entities if their body was desecrated and stuff. I could see why that would piss off some ghost.
Most
Yeah.
places that have a haunting that I've experienced, it's an extreme thing
Someone
that happened in
pissed.
that spot, like something an action in time. What I was getting at about the place we're going to be on
Oh,
Friday is that when we were doing the barn, we had an EMF detector set up in the middle of a REM pod, and I noticed it kept going off, and I'm sitting there watching, like, damn, this thing is going off a lot, and like, so I start timing it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, there it goes, start the clock. Okay, 60 seconds later, boom, it goes off again. I'm like, stop, restart,
On
okay,
60 on the
and
dot.
then, like, as quick as I could double punch the clock and just keep watching, and I'm like clocking it each time, and I'm like, okay, within a minute, this is happening, give or take, somewhere in here, this thing's going off. I'm like, hey, go grab the other 4, right? And I'm like, set one here, set one here, set them up in a line, because what they had said is that this used to be Colonel Waple's office up here, and that he'd been seen up here pacing the
That's
floors at
my
night,
daughter.
working, etc., doing all this shit. And so I'm like, if he spent a lot of time up here, maybe first we set him up this way and nothing happened, just the center one kept going off, and we left that was the original one, and then we turned it and got it straightened out, and then sure as shit, like a domino effect, it was like boop, 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 all the way down, and then we turn around and come back the other way, bop, 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 bop. And I was like, okay, maybe this is a Wi-Fi signal, maybe this is Cat 5 running in here somewhere that's sending signal. Maybe so. We knew that with all the breakers, we had all the breakers shut off to the place. Power's out. Nothing's going through there. Going down, I'm taking a little plug charger that tells me if the power's on or not. And I'll stick it in and it'll light up. Let me know. And
Yeah.
everything's dead. I got everything. Everything's off. I'm looking at the floor. It's bare floor. There's nothing there. So my only conclusion to that was like, you caught what is just residual imprinted energy. It's stuck in one spot. Something happened. He spent a lot of time here. And I think it doesn't matter what time of day. I bet we could go down there right now and go stand in this barn and put 4 or 5, 6, 10, however many. When we go back, I wish we had 20. And I would
Figure out
love,
where
I
he
would
turns
love,
around.
I want to like all the way down, like every like 3, 4 foot, or 5 feet, put it all the way down. And I want to see where it starts. And then comes down and then point it like, okay, well here. And now let's shift it. Let's mark with tape and let's shift. Like, as much as we are trying to figure out if there is something else, we're also just as much about debunking what that could be. Because I'm not going to get excited about it and be like, holy fuck, that's, yep, there he is. We caught him. Bullshit. What if it is a copper line that we're not seeing, or
Yeah.
it could be
Some
anything.
kind of form of energy
Right.
that you're not seeing. That's
Right.
triggering.
Is there a satellite outside that's beaming through this
See,
place?
I would lean towards that in a case where something's going off every 60 seconds. In my mind, I'm going, well, that's something's getting shot off or something that we can't see.
Totally.
Something's maybe there's a drip or
Yeah.
something. Who knows? But things that happen on a regular basis, I think, would be less proving to me. Less.
Right. So when you come to the end of
convincing.
it and you're like trying to figure out what it is, and you're at your wits' end, you're like, okay, I can't find anything that says this is making this happen. Then it's just left up to like, okay, maybe maybe this is it, maybe, but I'm not saying yes.
So what about the flashlight? You had an interesting edit.
That was
You had
the
an
thing that blew
interesting
my
edit
mind.
on that. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but there was an interesting edit on that scene. So was that real deal, or was that
100%.
Because
Yeah.
It
there was a
wasn't
break.
him.
There was a break. There was the light. There was a break, and then there was a back on the light, and then it fell off. I don't know if you guys
So
noticed
he's
that.
sitting down on the other side of that table,
Mhm.
and so his camera's sitting on the table, and he's like this, right, holding the camera, and then I go over and set the flashlight down on the
Are you
end
using
of the
one?
table.
How many cameras are you using? I'm sorry.
At that time, we were using two, and then we had the static cams. One was looking at the bar, one was looking at the stage, and the one that was looking at the stage like barely had it. We just weren't in view of it, which sucked.
Yeah.
I even said that. I was like, God damn it! I wish we had another angle of this so we could show that.
Yeah,
see us.
the edit on the episode makes it look like there's some funny stuff.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, it's
But there wasn't, right?
no.
You
I literally
didn't-
get up and go.
Right?
Go back and I set the flashlight down, and then I think I was getting ready to do is either the REM pod or the
Yes,
there was
no.
the yes no prism, and I was setting it up, and I was turning around to grab something, and that fucking flashlight had just been sitting there that whole time, and then finally it rolled, and I think you're panning to me, and then that thing goes to roll off the table, and you can hear it roll off
Oh
the
yeah.
table,
yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
the audible rolling.
roll,
Yeah.
and then it falls. I'm like, did you fucking see that shit? And I'm like, God damn it, please tell me you got that on camera.
Did you
'cause-
do you guys take levels and stuff out to places like that just to check to see if you're not on any kind of incline or nothing's?
No, that's a good idea though. I mean, no, I mean, I literally just set it on the table because why not? It's a table.
Have y'all shot anything? Are y'all shooting any infrared or anything? And I'm not talking about like the
phone mode.
the Predator Vision infrared.
Right.
I'm talking about like taking a camera that
IR?
has.
Both of my Cannons have IR on them.
Yeah.
So you've had the
And
filter
we have
taken
IR
off.
spots and everything. They're built like that. They have an infrared switch
Yeah.
on them. You turn them on.
No, I'm not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about you pull the filter off of like one of our DSLRs
Oh, yeah.
that is having true infrared with a true infrared light, not like the hunting scopes, none of that crap. I mean like real deal, where you can see stuff moving
No,
through video or anything. You haven't done
no,
that? Okay.
I'm interested though. I'd love to do that.
Go to gun
I'm
stores.
about to convert.
They'll have some stuff. that
What
you
we
can
use are
pulls and
like
stuff
we
you can
use some
that are
cheap
infrared
ass
like that.
like JV. What are they? So they're Sony little Sony pocket
they-
cams that we
Yeah.
put up on the stands, and then we have an IR spot that we put below. So for like a big room, and it'll spot the whole room. And so it's just turning it on infrared, night vision, whatever, and then you're seeing everything that's in the room. So everything that's black is like daylight.
What about
I was
taking
wondering
a,
about that. I'm going to convert one of mine because it also helps with astrophotography. But I'm going to convert one of mine. I was just wondering if you had one converted yet that
No.
shoots that, because you can see things differently, because you can actually see gases move.
Oh, really? Because
in
we have
video
IR
mode and
spotlights
stuff.
And this
too.
is just on
And
the
that
lens.
won't work because I have IR stuff for hunting.
Yeah.
And that it's not the same thing.
Okay.
It's you can actually see stuff move
You're talking-
around and jump.
Are you talking about the thermal?
It's not thermal.
It's all infrared.
It's true. It's
What-
100% true IR. The hunting
Yeah.
stuff is
Can you do that on a
Is-
mirrorless also?
it's not. Yeah,
Really?
I'm almost 100% sure, but I'm fixing to do one of my.
Could you do it like on an old
D800s.
like one of the old like Canon T4Is?
Yeah, I can send you a link to. There's a
'cause I
company
got
that
an
does
old
it.
one at the house.
Yeah.
You could get some infrared film if they still make it.
So
Yeah.
That'd be
the
great.
the thing is like, and the way I know about this is my dad was a photographer.
Uh-huh.
My biological dad was a photographer. He went on tour with Rush, and he shot a bunch of their stuff on tour that they still use on albums and stuff. But it was shot. It's black and white, but it's shot with infrared. And what it is you have to have a different type of flashes. You have to have everything because you can't see it. Kind of like the hunting light. You can't really see that light. You know that it's there by looking through the front of the
So
lens.
is it?
You can't see
Is it white, green? Is it?
It's it's black and white with a hinge of red. It depends on temperature, color, and gas.
Oh, okay.
It'll change things up. And he's got some pictures of like where he was playing around with stuff that I think I have. Maybe they're somewhere around here, but it's like he's taking a picture of the kitchen and he has a refrigerator open, he has a stove on. You wouldn't be able to see anything. The refrigerator's open, stove's on.
Right.
With infrared, you can see the gas coming off the stove,
really?
and blowing
Oh.
around,
Wow.
and the cold air coming out of the fridge
shit.
and blowing around and being
That'd
all
be
smoky
fucking-
and stuff. So that's what I was asking. It's like if you do it old school way.
I wonder if they.
Are y'all
falls
taking-
into like the full spectrum? Is it like full spectrum?
I think it is.
Are you
'Cause they have-
taking 35
It's called an
millimeter
H
with
something.
y'all?
But yeah.
I have recently.
Because they have
Yeah, I
full
would start
spectrum
doing
cameras.
that,
I'm wondering
too.
if that's the same. We don't have
See if you
one.
can catch anything cool.
So I'm wondering
on
if
the-
that's what that is.
Could
Is
get
that's
the
full
analog
spectrum.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
do
would
have
make
that
sense.
35 millimeter we've been taking. I just took this last time. I got to get developed from the jail.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like a 35 millimeter infrared, you're taking still shots.
Yeah.
If you could do it video, with
Right.
an old DSLR or mirrorless, I'm almost positive you can pull that.
I have an
It's
old
the same filter.
I have an old crop sensor that I could probably do that too.
70.
Yeah, because I'm going to do it too. I have an old D800, and I may do it to my D750 because of the low light on it.
Oh yeah.
I may send it in because it works fantastic with astro stuff.
Wow.
Because that's what helps you see the gases in the sky and the
Yeah.
nebulas and junk.
Back to the Maglite. The Maglite. The Maglite is my second favorite because it's look. When you the deal is you turn that thing to where it just barely turns off. You're setting it sensitive, right? You're setting it there, and you can totally tell when it's bullshit because it'll start malfunctioning.
And we'll test
Right.
it too. We'll hit the if we
We're
hit the
hitting the
table and it
table
starts
around
going
it.
off, we'll quit.
And you're not, it's not going off, and it'll sit there forever. But to know that these things don't dim, right? There's no dimmer. They're either on or off. And there's no matter how much you sit there and fuck with it, they're not gonna slowly come on and slowly come off, right? And then that's why I like doing the countdown. And I love doing that. It's like once we start talking with this thing back and forth, and I do like a 5 to 1, and when I hit 1, I want you to turn it on. And then that happens. And you say, okay, now I'm going to do it again to turn it on. And you count down and you get to happen. It happens. And you're just like, son of a bitch. Like count however fast you want to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poof. And it pops on.
Which that's kind of that's what you were doing in that first episode.
Right.
And it was like, wow, I can't explain that. I don't know what's going on.
My buddy Leighton was like, are you sure there's not a fucking trigger for this to turn this on? I'm like,
I thought he had
yeah,
Bluetooth
on a
over
Maglite I
there.
bought from fucking AutoZone.
The only thing that's like you can't really. I can tell it's a Maglite because I've had one of those little small ones, but that's the only thing. People probably don't know that it's an actual Maglite where you twist it.
We've actually talked about something like this, like doing a podcast or just like short videos to put up on our YouTube channel of showing the gear. Like this is what we use. Take it completely apart and show them like this is it.
That was another question that I had for you too. Where do you get this gear? All this paranormal.
The RIM pods you
activity
can buy online. You look
Amazon
for them.
it and shit?
Yeah, Amazon carries them. There's a place called Ghost Stop that has them.
How do you know they work correctly though? That's one
Yeah,
of
is
my
there a
things.
better
Roll the
brand?
dice.
You just
It
look at reviews and stuff.
I mean, you look at
Or-
reviews, watch some of the big dogs out there that are doing it,
See
and
what
see
they're
what they're
doing.
using, and go for it.
So don't get them from
the
Wish.
only three things we have that
Not Wish.
that really
Timu.
you see people using are like the Yes No Prism, the Spirit Box, and the
Rim.
What about a
the RIM pods.
thunder machine up there? You ever seen one of those?
Thundercord?
Thunder cord?
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck! I mean,
You
yeah.
take a Thundercord out there and they start shaking.
You take
this
something
thing
like
around.
that, and that shit makes a noise in the night. Yeah,
I'm
how are you
out.
gonna disprove that shit?
I'm out.
Right.
I leave.
I'm all about that. Like we
Yeah.
were literally sitting there the other
You
night. I
guys
was like
need one of those.
trying to think of
You keep
more
that
and more
gourd there.
things that are trigger object worthy.
That would be a big ghost.
That would be terrifying. If I heard that,
That'd be
go off
like
the night, I
a-
would
yeah.
shit my
Done.
pants.
I would
Yeah,
shit my pants
I'm
too.
out.
I'm out. Later.
I was looking at trying to find more trigger objects.
Mhm.
There was like a child's toy, and it's this company. You can look them up on Amazon. They're called. I was trying to look up like laser grid alarms, right? But I didn't want something that would fan the whole room because, like we were talking about, like rats, shit like that. I want something that's like a beam, and it has to cut that circuit off to make it go off, right? And I found this child's toy, and it's made by a company called like Spy X. It's a children's toy. It's like $30, and it's for kids that want to be spies. You know, like we played GI Joe when we were kids, right? And it goes up to like 6 feet, and it has 3 little components. And one of them is the main one, and it's what makes the alarm go off. And it has these 2 eyes that come off of it like this. And then the other ones are the lasers. And so I tested it in my kitchen. I set it up on my stove, and then I set one across the kitchen, and I aim it. And what it does is when the laser beam locks up with it, it'll turn a light on, letting you know that it's locked into place. And then when you break the beam, an alarm sounds. And so I was showing him. I FaceTime. I was like, oh, this could be interesting. And so I was testing it. I was sitting there like blowing vape at it, and like trying to get something to break it, you know. And I was testing like how fast my hand could go through it, or paper towels, you know, tissues. I was sitting there fucking with it, wanting to see if this thing's so sensitive, like in the dark, a shadow moves, you know. So I started taking like my flashlight on my phone, and I'm holding it like this, and I'm moving my hand up and down, making a shadow to cast across this thing, and it's not setting it off. And I was like, this would be cool. Like people that say like, oh, we have this thing that walks them down the hall. Bitching. Let's put it on both sides of the hallway and have this beam just cross the hall, and then it's got another one you put down here, so it's kind of like a, you know, number 7 going across the hall. So you gotta, if it passes through, you know, cool.
Yeah. What about a mousetrap?
That too. Anything like that. Like
Yeah.
that's something that can be triggered, touched.
Yeah.
You know, places that have like
I could drop trowel.
stories of children haunting it. You go you go stand in there naked, and that'll be the
Yeah.
worst thing we've ever caught on camera.
Why is this guy naked?
What's this? This is what happens when you have squatters come in.
That
It's
child's,
just stubs.
that child's device reminds me of the old the alarms they had in dressing rooms in like the 80s when
Yeah.
you'd walk through the beam and
So essentially, what I was trying to find was like, you know, like on our garage doors, we have
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the deal that goes across.
Yeah.
Same thing, but can I find something that's battery powered that makes an alarm sound? And they've got tons of stuff that's like. I was showing him this one that has like a box and it has like 4. I'm just gonna rip this fucking thing off. Here we go.
You
They
get
have this
bleed
one that-
everywhere.
No, it's just I caught it while we were cleaning the
We have
garage.
lots of DNA on these carpets here.
Lots.
DNA.
our guest last week,
Yes.
their first episode, they left a ton of DNA in here.
A lot of DNA.
Nice. In that chair, especially,
Yeah.
Craig. They have this one that was it's like the main box you just plug into the table up here, and then if you had like one motion sensor by the gate, one on the driveway, one on the door, and one here, something moves, it'll tell you what 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll light up here, letting you know that something's moving, you know, or someone's coming up your driveway, or something like that, right? And so I was like, well, that's kind of cool, because like, what if we do like, okay, motion sensor 1's in this hallway, motion sensor 2's in this bedroom, motion, you know, and then we're in another spot and we have this with us, and it's letting us know that hey, something's moving in here, but it's not sending off an alarm that scares whatever's in there,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
But the problem is, how's that transmitting to that device, and will that interfere with your other stuff going
That's
on?
where we have to
Exactly.
test it.
Yeah.
That's where we have to set up the gear we have and test that.
There's a
Make
lot of
sure that it's
testing
not
in
gonna
this
interfere.
business, isn't
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
I mean, because you don't know, like you said, how do you know that it works? You don't.
Yeah.
You're going off someone's word, so you're testing it in theory. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to get this thing to malfunction. I want this thing to fuck up because I can go, well, if the vibration of the table hits, the mag light goes off. Yeah, you're right. If you set it too sensitive, you bang the table, it's going to pop on. But if I'm sitting there banging around the fucking table and that thing's not doing anything, and it sits there for 2 hours doing nothing, and then it comes on randomly, I go, okay, thank you. Can you turn that off for me? And it turns off, and I'll say, I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and it pops back on. Then I wait, and we just banter, and it does nothing. You still here with us? Can you turn the flashlight back on? And bam, it pops back on again. You're not going to sit here and tell me that's not real.
You know, one thing I also know. Yeah, I want to go with y'all. So, one thing that I noticed with the episode that I watched too is, I think too, one thing that's cool about you guys is you guys don't, you don't sound like you're patronizing whatever it is. Like the stupid shows that you're talking about a lot of times.
Yeah.
Are you upset about your dying mom, your mom that died? Da, da, like all that stuff, all that garbage.
Right.
You guys seem to go in there and just be like, "What's up? Well, if you're still hanging out, man, just let us know.
Yeah.
That's cool." Like, I think that's what that would. If I was a ghost, I'd be like, "Hey, these guys, they probably smoke
There was
weed.
only
I'm gonna
one
hang out with them."
time so
You
far
know?
that I got like pissed off, and that was
You have?
Milling.
Well,
I got mad.
you-
Well, because Corey and I, so it was on part 2 of Milling, and we're
which I haven't
upstairs.
seen.
Him and
The
Paula are
upstairs,
downstairs in the room from part 1, and
Okay.
we're upstairs in what used to be a doctor's office upstairs. And the story on that place is fucking intense. Like who Dr. H.H. Millings was and what he did in that place makes
I don't even want to
makes
hear it.
Sinister look like a day at the
crazy.
fucking
That
place.
One
sanitariums and stuff fuck me up.
But that
man.
It
was
was a
a- that was
sanitarium
what they
and a
did.
sanatorium.
But that was the lobotomy place, right? Where they did a bunch of
They did
experimentation
everywhere,
and
didn't
What
lobotomies?
Dr. Milling did in that place is disgusting, and completely got away with it.
Was he a Nazi?
Maybe.
Probably.
Because
He
I know
moved right.
Nazis
He
did a
moved.
lot
He
of
moved right
crazy
out to
shit
fucking
like
Grand
that.
Prairie and opened another hospital, and then just grew old and died. Fucking, it was like, oh, I got all these awards. Like, but I killed 50,000 fucking people over the course of my career. But who's counting, right?
It's like Fauci.
Fuck you. Like, I mean, seriously. Like, we're just gonna take.
When did you record those again? Or those? When did you video those episodes? Or shoot them?
Oh fuck. Milling.
Yeah, Millie.
The second one or the first one?
The first one is what I saw. When did you start doing it? The
Part
Milling
1
project.
was during the summer because it was hot. Part 2 was when it started cooling off.
One was right after Halloween.
Yeah.
and you
Because we had
said
to let it wait a week because they had that tour through
Yeah,
there.
they had a ghost tour up there. This gal does, and so they had a bunch of people running through there, and
oh, but that gets on
and
your
we just
nerves.
wanted. We were like, we don't want to fucking go in there the next night. Let's wait a week or two and let it calm down, and then come back in.
That's so. What about Halloween?
Opening
Is
weekend of deer
Halloween
season.
more active? Have y'all done
yeah.
stuff on Halloween at midnight and stuff? Is it because supposedly that's when the veil is the thinnest between the living
No.
and dead? Have you? y'all
I think if
done
we
that?
found something, you know where I'd like to do that? Okay.
Huh?
I think that's just a bunch of bullshit.
I
I,
agree
think that's
with
a
you.
wives' tale.
I do
Uh,
too.
Halloween is
what,
the
what-
veil.
what was the one where you everybody puts their fingers on like
Light
Oh,
as a
light
feather, light
light
as
as
a
a
board.
feather?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
it's like that?
Yeah.
Well, when he got punched at the last one, it was like 6 in the afternoon.
So it doesn't really matter the
No.
time.
We've never
Doesn't matter
found
if
that
it's
it
light.
matters.
You guys just like it because there's less people.
In
to deal
fact,
with.
with Milling, we were getting more immediate reactions while we were setting up, which was early than we were at night when we were in there. You know, and it's like it just went. It's like a light switch, just like no more.
Well, they
And
could
like
go to sleep
nothing else
too.
happened.
And when we were up there,
They're
you
older
couldn't
ghosts.
see. It
They gotta
wasn't.
get
It was
some
dark in there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it didn't matter if it was light outside. It was dark.
That
up
place
there.
is all boarded up, so you can't. I mean, it could be 2:00 in the afternoon. You can't see.
When
shit
did
in
you
there.
find out about the notorious shit that was happening there with the doctor? Was it before you went?
Between one and
Oh,
two.
between 1 and 2.
Yeah, I was doing more. I did a little bit of investigating on it, finding out what it was and where it had been, blah blah. But I didn't really dig hard into it until we came out of the other side from part 1, and I was like, God damn, that was a lot
Was there
for
anything?
one room.
Did you connect anything? Were you like when you heard what he was doing?
From the
things
claims
that you saw
The only things that connected was the claim of what Jim and the staff had told us
About
about the what was her
Patsy
name?
Cline.
Yeah, the lady
Florence.
Florence said that there was a lady named Florence that used to be up there, and this is after it's been the VFW, like it was been a bingo hall, etc., and all this stuff. That if you play Patsy Cline, she'll make herself known, and she likes to flirt with the men and all this stuff, and she'll make women very uncomfortable. And so, like,
Oh, she's
I was
catty,
like, all right,
huh?
well, let's use that as a trigger object. Let's play Patsy Cline and see what happens. And then we had all our devices start going off. I'm like, Jesus,
Did you play any other music?
just that.
Wonder what you would do if you went in there and
Took
played
your-
some
Yeah,
Kendrick
we did.
Lamar or
Took your
something.
band in there.
Or
we
you
did.
Some Kendrick Lamar or something.
give her some
we
remix
play?
of Patsy
Paul and I
Cline.
played some different stuff.
Oh, did you?
What'd y'all play?
We played different songs besides. And Patsy
it all
Cline, I
old
think
country?
we played. Yeah.
Yeah, go in there with some Pantera or something. See what happens.
Really piss them off.
When are you
Yeah, you
going
don't
back
do
there?
No, I don't. We don't have it on the. I mean, there's no point. Yeah,
Because you've already done it.
we're doing it.
So
Twice.
you're gonna do. You've already done the house, the Pumpkin Nights house.
We're doing that this Friday.
Y'all are doing that this Friday. Okay, so you're a Hearst boy.
Yep.
For a little bit. Any interest in doing the old Scream Bridge that we've all been
Is that
raised and thought about?
Is that the one down? It's Jesus, down behind Bell Helicopter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
closed off. It's the old Greenway through. It was
What
closed
was it
off.
called down there forever?
Mosier Valley.
Moser Valley.
Now Mosier Valley, you know,
That was more of a devil worshipping thing.
well, we
That
talked
was
about
fun.
this. Well, the other thing was like it was a black community during
All the streets are named after fighters.
You're talking about a long time ago.
long time ago,
Long
and that
time
a
ago.
lot of people died down there
Yeah.
because of lynching.
Yep.
And
Yep.
other bullshit that like the Klan would go through there and do all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, you know, they always said, you know, the devil worshippers gathered back there because it was just that was all just swampland
Oh,
and
yeah.
forest and stuff. And
It's usually just drum jams.
That's
I
what it
found
was.
out. Just
now that
hippies
I'm
and stuff.
older, it was a bunch of guys just sitting around
Spoon-fed
drinking
tribes
and
out
hanging
there.
out and made a bonfire. But you would drive through there and you'd see these bonfires down the valley, and you'd be like, "Those are fucking Satan worshippers, man!
Bunch
They're
of
down
patchouli
there
and
sacrificing
granola."
shit." And I guarantee you, it was a bunch of guys like us. They're just like, "Let's go hang out and drink and we'll
Yeah.
start a fire
Freak
and
each
chill
other
out."
out.
You know?
It goes right along with the stories of like, remember out in Roanoke, remember Crazy Man's?
Yeah,
Like that's where we used to. I mean, if I had
Yeah.
an old '71 GMC, we used to go out there and drink beer in the bed of it and chase kids out of there in the dark. Like
now I do know someone that died out there.
I do too.
I have an old coworker that's where he.
Now
committed
there is some
suicide.
true stories about that place.
Yeah,
That are like seriously dark.
and
Um,
very weird.
Well, the main story about the dude who went crazy, right? That's a fucked up story. That I did a report on this like for school, and I was like kind of went hard into it. He was trying like to David Koresh that place.
Yeah,
100%.
that's what he wanted that to be. Was
Yeah.
kind of like his own commune.
The
and
clock
everything.
tower was the center of town, and that was going to be
That
the.
was so fucking weird.
we used to
being
go
out
out there
in the
and
middle of nowhere.
drink our fucking ass off. God, that's the first time I tripped. You know, like
Yeah,
damn, you couldn't do that no more.
that clock tower and those roads, like they tore the clock tower down, but then the brick roads were out there forever.
Yeah, and they started raising up after
Yeah.
a while. So when you came out there in the dark, it was like, fuck,
What is going on?
this is fucked up, dude.
People are coming up out of the grounds, but people go out there and hunt. They go out there and fish and scare the shit out of other people.
Well, yeah, I used to go fucking dove hunting out there as a kid. Like, shit. I mean, Hazlitt, we used to go dove hunting,
Yeah.
you know? But Crazy Man's was a great, I mean,
Now it's a neighborhood.
oh, shit. It's
It's
more than,
The
the only
airport
part
and
that's really
warehouses.
just creepy is right off of what is that 170? You go down and there's a
Wait a
bow
second.
hunting place down there that does
Cinnamon Creek.
yes.
Cinnamon Creek Ranch.
As you're going down that road, all the trees cave over.
Yeah.
That's
the
how we used to
canopy.
come into it. Was go that back route.
That's the way we used
Yeah.
to do it. That was Avondale Haslett.
yeah.
Yeah,
we'd go
That's
back
how I
to
used to get out to Texas Motor Speedway when people still went to NASCAR and the traffic would back up.
Yeah.
We'd just go that way.
Yeah.
We had an old iron truss bridge
Dude,
out there for the longest
I
time.
had a fucking dually. You know, it was my dad's after he passed. I had his dually. And what the fuck was I doing crossing that bridge with this dually? I look back at the old '85 fucking Chevrolet 4-door dually
Yeah.
going across this thing 454 in this fucking thing going across the like. What was I
You
doing?
know that bridge still exists.
No, they took it out.
They did. They took it out. It's sitting in City of Roanoke. Has it in their where their public works department is.
No
It's
shit.
sitting back up in there. They were going to put it in a park. One of the very first photo shoots I ever did in my life was on that bridge. They had already rerouted it, and the bridge sat by itself.
Yeah, I
the
remember
iron
that.
bridge, and went up there, and I did. One of my friends went up there, and I was playing around with lighting and figuring stuff out. My old D80, you know, and I did a photo shoot up on that bridge, and then it was probably, I don't know, a year or two after that they moved it. They came and took it, and they took it to
No way.
Roanoke. Still has it,
No shit. I
and
wanna
they were
see
going to
that.
put it in a park, and I don't know.
Did you ever
whatever
balls
happened to
up
that or
and
anything.
go into the old mansion?
Went into the old mansion. Yeah, I always thought someone lived there, but we went up in there once we figured out that no one lived
Right.
there. We went up in that. That place was creepy as shit. And then the old
Did you actually walk in, go inside?
yeah.
Fuck, that was creepy.
It was straight out of a haunted mansion type thing.
100%. Yeah,
It
you
was
go in
exactly
dude, I
what
get
you
chills
see
thinking
now.
about it. Like I remember being 16, 17 years old, going in there for the first time, going, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, this is weird.
This like there's no squatters in this thing. Like this thing's in the middle of woods. This is every terrifying
Weird
thing.
ass pond right beside it, or
Totally.
kind of that thing was weird. And then the Elizabethtown Cemetery, which is
Mhm.
still there, but at the time was just all by itself because
Well,
Elizabethtown was a
now-
ghost town now.
Elizabethtown, that's where the school of the blind comes in.
Yeah,
That burnt down with the kids in it.
yeah, which became that festival field.
The Scarborough Fair.
Or whatever the
That's
hell.
where they camped.
It was something else besides Scarborough. 'Cause Scarborough was in Waco. It was the other one.
The gypsy fucking whatever.
But it was the same thing. It was medieval fighters were on the ground of where the school burnt down, where all the kids died.
Yes. Did you know about that? Out there?
Hey, you talking about out towards Waxahachie?
No,
Like Scarborough?
Keller.
Elizabethtown by the
Elizabethtown?
racetrack,
But
There was a
where the Twin Peaks is now, and all that right
yeah,
there
yeah.
by the racetrack. Yeah,
Right
the,
there,
the cemetery is
114.
still there.
the cemetery's there. But there used to be a school for the blind there, and yeah,
As you're going down the
It's-
road to Elizabethtown Cemetery, to the left, you'll see this big. There used to be this big wrought iron archway going in, and it said a living something school for the blind, blah 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 blah. Right. This was the driveway you would come in, and it would be right in front of the cemetery eventually. But anyway, it caught fire, and to this day, there's no record of like, well, why didn't they just get the fuck out? Like,
That's
right?
scary.
yeah,
And there's all kinds of rumors about somebody who said we want this thing
Uhtred's
gone,
dad.
and
it was
lock
out
the
there in
door
the
and-
middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah, we got to have y'all back on
dude, I mean,
because I've got a lot of questions.
I live a
still,
block
but
away.
we're
I'm
out of
gonna
time.
start coming by here, just honking my
Yeah,
horn as loud as I
yeah.
fucking can on
No,
Tuesday.
come in.
Well, what you do is on Tuesdays when like
want
one of the
progress
days where
reports.
it's either hot or cold and we have the door shut, you just come and bang along the side of the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
want some
freak us out, go,
progress
"Those
reports.
girls."
We want to know
Yeah.
when y'all have a big hit, y'all come in and talk about it. And stuff
Absolutely.
like, you're not gonna believe this shit. Like we'd like,
I
Especially
could-
after the episode is released or whatever, and you can.
I can tell you right now,
and we
that
want to
the-
go with y'all too. at some
the
point.
episode we're gonna release on the finale for the season. We even we had to call Natalie Jones, who's the CEO of Paraflix, and was talking to her like, do we even release this? Because it's the kind of footage that that's just, it's a make or break kind of footage.
Well,
Kind of
he's
deal.
into that. He made me listen to the the Jamestown.
Jonestown
Jonestown?
Massacre. It's the name of our show, Matt.
Yeah.
Like,
The
the Jonestown Massacre,
Jonestown Massacre
audio while we were driving through the fog to Mount Carmel
yeah.
Mm.
And it was stormy.
in Waco. It was stormy,
Wow.
rainy, foggy, and we're driving out to
He thought it'd be
Branch
a good idea
Davidian
to go
land,
freak ourselves
listening
out.
to that.
And
coming
it's
back
not
from
fun
Austin.
to listen to.
I mean, that's just what we do.
Hey,
It's
man.
fun.
Maybe season 2 we can go out with y'all, man. So it sounds like y'all got
Where's
plans
the-
for the last one, right?
The season finale. Where's
If
it
you're
at?
not too big time.
It's going to be on Paraflix.
No,
Oh, where
where-
the location?
Location. Oh, the
The one that we
the
can't talk
jail-
about.
The
Well,
or
we can
the-
say it's at Platinum.
it's at Platinum.
Yeah, it's the old jail.
The old jail.
That's
Okay,
the
cool.
finale.
That's the
Mhm.
finale.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And when does the
Yeah.
one or what y'all are shooting now out there at Pumpkin Nights? Is that season 2?
No, that if we catch something, that'll be the next. That'll be episode 5.
5.
But like, that's the thing. That's why it's like takes so long to get episodes. Like we'll go out and shoot something and then nothing. You know.
Yeah.
But so far we've done pretty fucking good. But it's like even on episodes or that have aired, I'm like Milling, for example, on part 2 of it. I was like, well, that was a bust. We didn't have like there was only one part in that where Corey and I were getting answers with the flashlight and the yes no prism was going off and it was answering directly and I kind of switched gears and I was like, am I talking to Dr. Milling? And then it flashes once for yes, and then I'm like, okay, because we do it like once for yes, twice for no, right? And then I'm like, okay, you know, why are you here? You know, start going through these questions. No answer. I said, okay. I was like, is this the evil thing that people talk about all the time in this place? And boom, it comes on, and it's like letting us know that yeah, I'm the thing that. it was like letting us abruptly know, like, yes, I'm the dark thing that's here. And then I switch gears, and I'm like, well, let me tell you what I think about you fucking pieces of shit, you cowards. And this is where I start going off on them.
What
Like, I
happened?
think you're a fucking coward. I think you're an asshole. You know, I was like, how dare you come in here and you fucking kill all these people.
That's
like,
why you
what a
get punched in the
horrible-
ribs.
That's all right. Let it happen. And I just start going, I'm like, you're not wanted here. You know, these people are trying to run a business and have a good time up here. And these are elderly that come in here and they're trying to live out the rest of their lives. And you're just up here fucking with them. Like, fuck off. You know, I'm going off on this thing. And I said something and it answers back. And at that point, I was like I felt myself emotionally getting fired up. Like full defense mode where I like looked at Corey. I was like, dude, we gotta stop for a minute. Like, let's go downstairs and decompress. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, get out of here. Cause I went from calm, cool, collective to
You got caught up in it, huh?
I'm raging and I'm as I'm asking questions and this thing's answering and it's coming back and forth. Am I psyching myself out? Sure, maybe. But am I getting pissed off? Yeah. I was getting out like a dude in the room that's arguing with me hard fucking core and calling me all sorts of shit. And that's how I felt. Like I felt threatened, so I'm back over the top with it, coming back at him, and I was like, "Oh, we gotta fucking stop,"
Yeah.
you know. And it went super dark. And then the rest of the time for me and Corey, we didn't have a whole lot going on. Corey, there's a really funny part because Corey, he got really freaked out at the bar at the end of the deal, and he kept going, "Do you fucking not hear this?" Like, and I'm like, what the fuck am I hearing shot from fucking monitors and crap? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we get over towards the bar and it's like this, in between us, there's like this grunt that happens. And I hear that. I go, oh, I heard that. Like guttural, but it was quick. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, you don't hear, he goes, that right there. And I'm like, and it's like and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm trying to figure out what that is. And we can hear it with our own ears, and it's really high pitched, and I can't really figure out what that is. Then we hear something else. Corey about shit himself on the end of that deal because something happened where something set off the motion sensor and the flashlight went off at the same time. And he was like, no, fuck that. He's like, I'm done. I'm out. Like, he sets his shit down. He's like, no, I'm not. No, fuck no. You go over there. And he's like, I'm not going over there. And I walk, I'm laughing because I'm like a little girl. When shit gets scary, I start laughing.
You get giddy?
I get giddy. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Don't set the camera down the other way. Face it that way. Okay, what is it? And I go over there and then we hear it. And at the point where Corey walks up to the bar, he's got the Canon and he's walking up and you hear him, like I'm in the background asking questions. You can see me on the static cam. I'm sitting at a table and I'm talking to a flashlight that has come on and it's an LED that is completely dimmed down and it's just sitting there dim and it won't do anything. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking in my head, like I'm getting ready to go turn this flashlight off and reset it. And I hear him go, ah, like that. And I was like, what the fuck? I started laughing. And then that's when he goes over, I come over, we hear the growl and all this shit happens. And we can't figure out what the fuck it is. And then it's like a light switch, just, and everything goes silent the rest of the night. I'm like, well, that was eventful, I guess. And that's all we caught on our end. I don't know what they've caught, him and Paula at this point.
How long
And
do y'all stay out at these locations usually?
Sometimes it's like 5-6 hours. Sometimes it's like 8 or 9. You know, we're not crashing there.
Yeah.
There's no point.
This is basically like a fishing expedition.
Yeah, kind of.
If the fish are biting, you're sticking around.
Right.
If not,
Do you deal with a lot of electronic stuff?
Yeah.
See if he can explain that.
Yeah.
When we were there that second time, me and Paula were upstairs investigating, and him and Corey were downstairs in the ballroom. We're on two completely opposite sides of the building. We got a flashlight set up, and I have her in camera, and she's sitting on the other side of the room. And all of a sudden, her walkie-talkie, because we all have walkie-talkies when it's a group of us, her walkie-talkie starts playing Patsy Cline, only hers. We're all on the same channel. So I radio to them, and you can see this in the episode because Corey goes 1 second, and his microphone's up here, his walkie-talkie's up here. So when they get done with their part, he comes back and he goes, "What's going on?" I said, "Y'all playing Patsy Cline?" He goes, "Yeah, why?" I said, "Well, it's coming through Paula's radio, but not mine. His radio was off, and Corey's was on his shoulder.
Corey's like, is your radio on? I go, no, dude, mine's off. And I like,
You
take it
see
off
him
my
on the
neck.
camera,
And I
turn
go,
it back
turn
on.
It on. It goes on.
Dude,
And it turns on. You see it turn on. And I'm like,
that's
Only
crazy.
hers.
only hers.
I think Dustin and I are gonna go out
Walkie-
there pretty soon, and we're gonna take a vinyl player, like a record player.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool because
That'd be dope.
if it doesn't like the song or doesn't like,
I'm
See
looking
what
at
happens.
I'm looking
That'd
at
be
getting an old
insane.
motion detector, like a bellhop bell.
oh yeah,
In
I've
fact,
seen one of those on one of the pages of gear they sell.
Yeah,
That's the bellhop bell.
these
if you want
pages.
things.
Where are,
It's a motion
what is it
sensor
called?
bellhop.
Where do I go? I want to get
I'll-
some ghost busting.
Ghost
equipment.
Stop.
Ghost
Go
stop.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
But walkie talkies.
Ghost Mart.
in that
pretty
situation.
much.
Walkie talkies are weird anyway. Like
Yeah.
the way they work and the way like their bandwidth and everything and the stuff they pick up at random, is weird. Because
Yeah.
you can for the longest time, if you had a walkie talkie and you were just running around here in the the DFW area, WBAP had a 100,000 watt antenna.
Okay.
So you could use a walkie-talkie and be talking, or just key it, or just turn it up enough to listen to it, and you could hear WBAP coming through it.
Here's the crazy thing. Not only is it picking up Patsy Cline coming through, but you
Yeah.
could hear me
That
and
stuff's
Corey bantering
expensive.
back and forth about it. It's
Yeah.
not just picking up the phone, me playing it.
Yeah,
It's picking up him and I having a conversation.
but y'all's aren't on.
But his is on his shoulder, and you can when you press it, you can see a light up. You
Yeah.
can clearly see
Squawks,
his in
dude.
the pic, right? And I'm sitting there with my phone in my hand like this. So my walkie-talkie's out of sight, out of mind. It's over here and it's off. And so
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like this, and so I'm like,
He
You
even
know-
downloaded the song and put it on airplane mode so it wouldn't have any
Right.
interference.
Yeah, you said that on the episode. That's interesting. That's
so
crazy.
that blew our fucking mind because I was like,
That is crazy.
the fuck? What the fuck are you? And the whole time that Corey and I are sitting there talking back and forth, that rim pod is just in front of us. Beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. Like someone's grabbing. So when you grab onto that thing, the red light in the center will light up real bright. It'll just sit there and beep forever.
Do you guys leave this equipment just running at your house sometimes? And
No.
He doesn't.
You do?
I do
I don't
because I
blame
test
you.
it.
I wouldn't want that shit.
I
Well,
I want to
I
test
take that
everything.
back. Actually, after we came back from the milling, because when we were sitting in the equipment room, Paula had a flashlight sitting next to her, and it started going off and on and answering questions. But we had nothing. We were charging everything, just sitting there. And when we got home, she did it again, and it came on in the house.
So again, like, did it come home with you, kind of deal?
You got a clinger.
We've
A
had that
stage
since
3
we've had
clinger.
the house.
And he's the more religious one out of the group. Like, I mean, he'll say a prayer before, and he'll wear crosses and that sort of thing and tries to protect himself, as where I don't. I'm just completely open, like, well, fucking come on. Like I said before, if it will come home, my wife will hate that. But if it will come home, I'm not fucking leaving. Just set the whole house up, man. I'll just run the whole
Yeah.
damn thing on the fucking web. Be like, hey, you want to watch paranormal shit?
I have a
There is a
haunted
ghost
house.
walking through here
Yeah.
naked, and then there's me naked. So, yeah, the season finale will be at but to answer your question, yeah, it'll be a platinum.
Okay, so how does everybody? You go on the Paraflix,
Paraflix,
and what was your promo code you had there?
Paratheory 25, all
Okay.
one word, numbers at the end.
All right.
Yep.
If anybody wants to watch through everything, and of course you have some of the older stuff on YouTube,
Yep, we have 2 episodes on YouTube, it's under
Facebook,
Paratheory.
Instagram,
Facebook only,
Facebook
no
only.
Instagram right now.
Y'all aren't TikToking these meets and being like, look
He
at the
does.
TikTok.
We put the most recent one, we did it on my Deadwood page for my band, and it in the last few days it reached 23,000 views, as where it's the highest thing I've got in my out of all my band shit. It was the one thing that was the. Did you see that thing? We weren't rolling audio or anything yet. We had one static cam going, and we just set up the cat ball and the music box inside the hallway. And I got
What?
touched.
What's this on TikTok?
This is the part
Is
where
it
I
TikTok
got
or
touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cat balls creep me out too. There's
Oh,
something
yeah.
weird about that.
Yeah, it's crazy when it goes off right next to you and you're not moving.
Yeah. Those creep me out. That's when it hit you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the frog that you got?
You jumped through the roof.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking moving. And that fucking got me. And the bang you hear happen is my elbow hits the wall. Like, cause when it fucking happened, I was like, bam! I was like, oh, fuck. So now I'm hurting in two places. I'm like, son of a bitch. But, yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah, man.
Shit.
Paraflix, go there, Google Store, App Store, Roku, any of them. You can.
Cool. You got merch?
Not yet. On the way. Hopefully we can make back the gas money we've spent to go for the
Build
night.
some
Yeah.
ectoplasm
Yeah,
guns
that'd be
and
nice.
backpacks. You can.
I think we're gonna do some hats, beanies, and hoodies.
I
Cool.
should take a
Yeah.
road trip to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying
I
Halloween
love that.
earlier, man.
The-
There's a bar in New Orleans that I went into that I was just like, holy fuck! I wonder if this place has got anything. Because I mean, of course, it's
Everything
set up,
down there does.
but it's the shit. You can't film like
The oldest bar.
the
in
dungeon.
The dungeon.
Oh,
the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got in trouble there. I
Yeah,
got
we've
kicked
gotten
out.
thrown.
Yeah, that dude was like, no phone. So I was like,
Yeah.
God damn, well, fuck, turn that shit off.
Yeah,
And
we-
the one time, like, I just,
We-
like,
we-
by accident pulled it. I was like, I wonder what time it is. Get out.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
like,
gotten
well-
walked out. We've been walked out before.
I was taking some pictures, and I will say that because
I was too.
it was my 40th birthday. We were down there, and I was taking some pictures and stuff, and then they jumped me. Well, then later in the night, we were all hanging out, and someone dropped something. So I just instinctively pull out my phone and get the light. Well, when I hit the light, they're like, "You're out of here."
yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "We're looking for
Really?
something. I'm not taking a picture or anything. We were looking for something."
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
You should
"You're
go.
outta here."
What's that? What's the place that True Detective the finale or was it the finale?
That old fort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
it's
there.
an old
Dude, there's
fort.
we went down there just with some friends, and for like 2 days, that's all we did was like go around,
Ghost-
and we did the ghost tour. We listened to some of the stuff. We
Those
talked to
look
the lady out.
stupid. The
They're
ghost
dumb.
tours.
The one that was interesting was the apartment where the guy and the girl. There's the True Detective deal. The couple that went down there, and then they got into a big fight, and he killed her, like hacked her up, put her in the fucking. He was trying to boil
Oh,
her
yeah, I
body
forgot
parts
about
down.
that,
Yeah.
But
And
then you
it's-
have what's her name's apartment where they were.
That's right by the oldest bar too.
Yeah,
It's like
she was
the oldest
mutilating
bars around
people
the
and
corner
trying to
from there.
make
Slaves, wasn't it?
She was taking slaves,
then
mutilating
mutil-
them, and
Doing
doing
Frankenstein
doing
stuff.
weird shit with them, like sewing different parts on them and rearranging their
Where's this?
arms and stuff. It's right down
New
there by.
Orleans.
That's
uh,
the thing.
Lafayette's bar.
The thing that's funny, I think it goes
Or
hand in hand
Lafitte's
with
bar
what
or
you guys
whatever.
are doing. Is you find out how much evil shit humans have done.
Oh,
Like, we're the virus.
100%. Yeah.
We're the humans are the virus here. We're the ones that are
100%.
causing all this.
The Milling Sanitarium.
Right.
I mean, it's a
exactly.
perfect example. We talked to some old lady that loved fucking Patsy Cline. Okay, yeah, that was creepy. What's creepier is that fucking dude was just
What was going on? there?
drowning people. Like, oh, well, this test didn't work. Fuck them. Put them in the morgue. Next one. Like, that
Yeah.
to me is like, in
That's why
this room,
sanitarium
this
has freaked
happened.
me out.
Well, that's what that lady was doing in New Orleans. I can't remember her name, but there was a whole a season of American Horror Story
Mhm.
kind of about
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
and
wow.
but she was rich, had a ton of money, had a bunch of slaves, and was just like, I wonder how much they can endure,
Wow.
and if I slowly fillet them, how much can they take before they die?
Yeah, there's a
It
place.
was
I think,
weird
I think
shit.
actually, I think there's a place in Chicago that's like that too. Except it was a guy, and he was doing this kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Had a big ass building and was just torturing people there
And
that were.
she never got in trouble for it because when she found out, like, I guess if I remember the story correct, one of her victims escaped and told the authorities, and she was rich and powerful
Yeah.
there in the city of New Orleans, had a lot of connections. She got word that the police were coming for her, and she skipped town and disappeared and was gone.
Wow.
And got away with
Hannibal
it, and who knows
Lecter
what else
shit,
she
You're,
did.
man.
you're 100%
Wow.
correct, my man. Yeah. The
We're the
amount of-
virus.
Yeah, we are. 100%.
All right, we didn't even get to talk about the band. If you want to plug it real quick, but we'll have to get you back in to talk about the band.
Sure.
and shit.
JustinRossMusic.com. The band's called Deadwood Revival. We got plenty of shows coming up. It's
Yep.
like rock.
Love
but
that
we do-
name, man. Psych rock, you said?
No, it's
Oh.
it's rock, but we do it all on upright banjo, fiddle, drums, guitar,
Hell yeah.
4-part
We'll
harmony.
have to come check that
Yeah.
out, but definitely get you back in here to talk about that.
Yeah.
Especially since you're a neighbor just right down the street,
Yeah.
as it
It's
turns
greatness.
out. It's
Yeah.
crazy. One thing I do want to plug before we finish this, because we got a whole bunch of stuff we didn't even get to, but we'll get to it next week. But this Saturday at Division Brewing, Electric Frankenstein with our friends, the Dangits, the Methinks, and Hit and Run, and the Shortwaves, I think is what it is.
Nice.
It'll be a fun night. So
at Growl Division,
at Division Brewing, Growl, all that. I wonder if the weather's nice, they'll probably use the outdoor stage.
I think it is going to be nice. In
It's
fact,
supposed to be beautiful all
I've heard
week,
it's supposed to get up close to 90
Yeah.
in the next week.
which is
That's
terrifying
ridiculous.
because
That
it makes
is
me think about
terrifying.
the summer and be like,
Right.
it's 90 in February.
It's like we had 2 weeks of really cold weather, and then just
Yeah.
winter just kind of went away.
I always know that like March is a tricky son of a bitch because it's
there'll be
like
one
if
that
it gets like
creeps up
this,
on you.
wasn't it Snowmageddon where it was like this?
I think it was
And it was like
February.
gorgeous, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden it was
February
like
22nd.
shit for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are always like. Well, February is the bad month, but I remember the first day of winter or spring having snow here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We run
So-
the gamut here in Texas.
We
Yeah,
do.
we do.
it's fun. And make
Yeah.
sure you're.
If you really want to
your power grid
experience
is
their
good.
out of towner people, come on down here between July 15th and August fucking 10th.
Leave
Yeah.
your leave your AC at home. You won't.
Yeah,
need it.
you won't
won't
need
need
it.
it.
It'll
It'll be
feel
great.
great.
Yeah, but that's going to be a good show. The Dangits, the Methinks will be there.
Yep,
That's right down the street from me, so y'all should come out, man.
Y'all
Yeah.
playing?
it's right
We're
down the
not.
street from.
Our friends are.
It's right down the street from Pumpkin Nights. too.
Taters.
Oh, yeah.
That's Friday?
It's Saturday.
I'm
Saturday
off.
night.
Gonna go.
Saturday night
I'll go.
at Growl, Division Brewing Growl. So
I already have a show.
Fine.
we'll see how it goes then.
Sucker.
Whatever. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here, and we appreciate you
Yeah,
guys
tings,
coming
guys.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you
for
guys.
having us.
in. We're, gonna have to-
Awesome.
we're
Man.
definitely gonna have to do this again,
For
and I'm
sure,
sure we're
yeah.
probably gonna get a bunch of freaking questions and a bunch of people going, "Well, why didn't you ask this? Well, why didn't you ask
Sure.
that?
Yeah.
Well, you should have
Sure.
asked this."
And if you
So
guys
we'll
have
just
any
start the
questions,
list.
man, hit us up. We control everything. As far I mean, it's not hard.
The world? You control the
Facebook.
world?
We control.
You're the Illuminati?
world. Yes.
All right. We're out of here. Good night.
Later.
Hey, before we
Let me do that. Let me kill the stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in the stream. We appreciate it. And tune in next week. We'll see you later. Bye.
We don't know.
We don't know
what it's
yet.
gonna be.
We've already filmed it though.
We
That's
gotta
all.
still get